We got kilobytes flowing. Kilobits.
Shouldn't it be
flowing.
live chat?
Oh, I could change that to live chat. Sure, I should. You're right. Buddy Carfano's here. Oh, you go. You're the talkative person.
I am. Oh, hi everyone. I'm Kim. I'm from Kim Fixes Things. You can find my channel.
What's that noise?
It's an advertisement on my computer because the stream started.
Oh, you're streaming over there. Okay.
Well,
We're gonna have to turn the sound down over there.
all right. So give me a moment. I am having some technical issues. I'm here with Buck Del Campo. He will be your host while I go and fix the other computer.
While everybody else is listening to a commercial. That's going to be really confusing over there. Kim's over there. She has a laptop going next to the engine where she's working, and there's it's got this live on it. So when we started, guess what? The commercial came on loud.
Yes.
So she's over there doing something about it. I'm looking up there at something I haven't seen in a while. Windshield de-icer. I think that came out of my wrecked car.
What?
Well, I looked up there and I saw that windshield de-icer. I remember that riding around behind my front seat. Okay. So you're back.
So I set that down to 144 pixel, like tiny grainy screen.
So you're not sucking up all the
right.
all
So
the
hopefully we have
internet.
no negative issues against the stream.
Okay, so everybody's commercial should be finished.
Bruce Culchin was first, but he has to make another chat before I will award him points. Buddy Carfano is here. Welcome to the stream. And we're beginning. Happy Sunday night. Did you have any fun? Did you do anything interesting? Did you watch any other streams? Did you watch Tony tonight or Dead Dodge Garage tonight? Oh. So we're in the shop. It's about 53 degrees. Johnny C is here. Welcome to the stream, Johnny.
I'm troubleshooting something.
You know what, Johnny? I am awarding you 3 points for having the first timestamp after 10 p.m. And Bruce Culchin is getting 3 points for being here the earliest and being here at the start of the stream. You have to be both of those to get those points. So I just gave out 6 points to people. Buddy Carfano, technically, I can't give you points yet. You got to say something else. So I can give you 2 points.
Kim, I'm trying to troubleshoot something here.
What problem are you having, Mr. Del Campo?
This is our charger for the radios. Oh, maybe it's not plugged in correctly here. Oh, there's the problem. Nope, that's not it. That all looks like it should have power, but there's no power to it. I don't know.
Johnny C watched UTG.
Oh, you were there. I was there a little bit, but then I was getting ready before I came up here and put on all my warm clothes and everything. And he finished before I finished getting ready, so I didn't see the end of his show.
But you get your 2 points for being the second comment after the start of the stream. Kiwi had a good video too. Did you see Kiwi's new video? I didn't see it. You know what? If you don't click on Kiwi's stuff often enough, they stop showing it right away. I haven't seen anything new from Kiwi, so I'll bet you he's not.
I know he put up a video like from a car show or something, like, but that was several days ago. But I haven't watched it because I've been busy. Rob's Rods and Streetcars. Howdy. Stop by in for a minute. Heading to bed. Well, just leave it on.
No. You get a point, Rob, for being the third comment third commenter since the beginning of the stream. Although there's more than 3 people here, just only so many people are get the early comments in. Hope you're doing well, Rob. Get some rest. It's Sunday night. A lot of people have to get up and go to work.
He had a Night Rider car. Oh, man.
Was it just that type of car, or was it an actual like movie car? KJ Kylie is here.
Yeah, there were kits for those. Kits for kit.
Yeah. 21 degrees and snowing here. Yeah, Pittsburgh's getting it tonight. Ugh.
Yeah, we're supposed to get a little bit of snow after midnight, but we're kind of right on the edge of it. So
it warmed up enough here for us to get snow, but we've got the moisture. I'll tell you that. It rained all day and it's soaking wet outside. Tim is here. Welcome to the stream, Tim. Good to have you. Oh, Rob got a bunch of snow. It's going to be a long drive to work. Oh, I see. Yeah, get some rest because that is exhausting. Did you pull up your windshield wipers so that it's easy to scrape your car in the morning? Do you ever do that when you were in Ohio?
I never saw anybody do it in Ohio, though. And I got to Maryland, everybody did it. So, I don't know. Yeah, I did it once I saw everybody else doing it. I go, oh, I know what to do. And I just always did it after that.
Johnny C says it was a real promo car. That's cool. That's really cool. I'll have to watch that. That doesn't really seem like up Kiwi's sort of alley, does it? That doesn't sound like anything like what Kiwi would normally be doing.
1 point to everyone for each cough drop Buff eats. Man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know it shows.
No, we can't give out that many points in one stream.
But my throat will just get dry, and then I'll be.
One of the medications that he has to take for his blood pressure gives him a dry throat, so he has to kind of feed a steady. We are single-handedly keeping the Walmart brand of cough drops in business.
Not a sponsor, but
they have the sugar-free, the little blues.
The cheapest sugar-free that a diabetic can have. So, yeah, it just does something to my throat, and it's a known side effect. But the prescription works well enough that I don't want to quit and change to something else. I've been through a lot of that.
Tim says we have to do that to the wipers here in Colorado. Sometimes we'll get a foot or more.
Well, that sounds like Northeast Ohio.
We would get 6 to 8 inches of snow overnight sometimes in Pittsburgh, and that was miserable. But they didn't expect you to show up for work bright and early because the work I was doing at the time, generally, we weren't going to get much done anyways. Sometimes they were hoping you would call off of work so they didn't have to pay you because they knew you weren't going to get anything done at work. Take half the day to
get you doing
started.
What were you? Oh, you plumbing?
Plumbing or even surveying. There was only so much you could get done when there was 6 or 8 inches of snow, fresh snow on the ground.
Boat anchors here. How are you doing? You know, it's really weird. You sent me that CB, and I'm looking at the tracking, and it's still in California as of earlier today, but it says it'll be delivered here tomorrow. And I'm like, really? Kim goes, it'll never make it by tomorrow. So, not that that's a big deal. I just think it's funny that the tracking's showing it.
We'll have it by Wednesday.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, but it's just that it's.
You did your part. It's
the tracking.
It's on the post office after that.
Tracking makes me laugh.
Yeah, the U.S. Post Office is woefully inadequate, and there's nothing you could do about it except just.
Well, it's way better than it was. What, 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
Oh yeah. It
was terrible during the.
But at one time, the United States Postal Service was was the best in the world. It was amazing, and they intentionally destroyed it so that private industry could.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. I think it's just incompetence. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's willful incompetence.
Kim, were you in a union?
I never had any union work. There were not union jobs for me to get. Once got paid union wage. I couldn't believe it. It was more than double what I was making normally. And that was eye-opening.
Boat Archer says he hopes they don't misplace it. Well, the good thing about a tracking number is stuff with tracking numbers usually doesn't get displaced or misplaced, but you can keep track of it. I mean, it gets scanned at some point. Mexican Spec sends stuff to me from Mexico and tracks it across Mexico, and it's kind of slow, and then it gets to the U.S. and it gets into our postal service, and I can track it, and you see it go through customs and then here. And it surprised me sometimes. It'll be real slow, like sitting somewhere, and then like in one day it'll show up, and it moves tremendous distance in one day. So I don't know. I, at least they have a much better tracking system than what they used to have back in the day when they first started tracking in the post office.
KJ Kylie, Tim says that I'll be back to KJ Kylie. Tim says that his sister in northern Ohio says they have a foot of snow today. Yeah, that would be that's a lot of snow.
Northeast
Yikes.
Ohio was miserable with the lake effect snow, and I lived up there for 15 years. I had enough snow for a lifetime.
But KJ Kylie asked about Union. When I was very young in Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh was a steel town in the Rust Belt, and a lot of the industry and a lot of the employment, all the good jobs were adjacent to the steel industry or in the steel industry. And so in the early 80s, that was dying a very painful death. There was lots of small towns, lots of like one employer towns that were dying because of the steel industry, and there was a ton of anti-union propaganda. Basically what they were doing is they were saying the reason that all these jobs are going away is because the unions made us go out of business. And the reality was is cheap Chinese steel was putting them out of business. And without the unions, they still wouldn't have been able to compete with the Chinese prices. But they blamed the unions because the unions forced higher wages and forced safe working conditions and stuff like that. But growing up as a kid, I didn't realize it was like all a ton of anti-union propaganda. So I was like, unions bad. Greedy people joined unions and stuff like that. It wasn't until I was like an adult and I recognized what employers did when they didn't have to collectively bargain. But I've also seen people abuse their unions, good
Well, and
unions.
I've worked for employers that were pretty decent without a union, and then
Yeah.
yeah, it goes both
I
ways.
also worked, I was in the grocery union as a kid, like 17 or 18 or something like that. And the grocery union was a complete scam. It was not a real union. See, the grocery stores started their own union. And so to work there, you had to join the union. And then they just mistreated everybody and did it under the guise of a union so people wouldn't start their own union.
Was that those two-tier systems with part-time that got paid almost nothing, and then full-time you got good wages, but nobody ever worked full-time?
Nobody ever worked full time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the only people who actually got in the union were, family and friends of the store owner, and then that's how they could justify their higher wages and uh, stuff like it. It was all scam. It wasn't a real union. I don't know how they get away with stuff like that. I don't
So
know. Employment is difficult.
what's going on with the? We got to bring everybody up to speed on what happened with the engine yesterday, because we were up here yesterday. KJ Kylie says IBEW for 35 years.
What's IBEW?
International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers.
Oh yeah, the electrical workers union would be an excellent.
Yeah, see, and I
union
saw
to
that at
be in.
nuclear power plants. Everybody at nuclear power plant was one union or another, and they were IBEW was common.
There were unions, but in a lot of cases in Pittsburgh, there was not enough union rate work to keep
Well, you're in a real depressed city.
a real depressed city. The only work that was union work was government work. They had their higher unions, but there wasn't enough of that. Like the union work that I did for a couple of weeks.
Well, KJ Kylie's in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. was they were building a school, and in order to bid the work, they had to pay union rate. So, yeah.
Ozone. Okay, we're now international. We have
Hello.
Ukraine, Turkey, which I think Ozon's in Turkey. I think he's in Turkey right now. Yeah, we're doing okay. So you want to bring everybody up to speed on the because we came up here last night, but it was really cold, and we didn't do a live. We just worked for a while and did a couple of shorts and then got out of here.
Well, we were working over beside the fireplace.
Wheeled the engine over by the
Yeah,
wood
I
stove.
wheeled the workpiece over there so we could sit by the stove while we were tinkering on the engine. And today, what I've done is I've set up my personal laptop computer over there so I can watch the chat a little bit while I'm working. And he wants to sit over here because he likes the big screen. I understand,
This
but
is
I
where
don't. I would
all
get
my
cold.
all my stuff is right here, and you can see the shop from behind.
And
Behind
I
me.
was sweating when the stream started because I was running around doing stuff, getting things ready. But now I'm cold. Wow, I can feel the difference.
Well, it's what 54 degrees in here.
Yeah, it's still
So
warming up.
yesterday we came in here and it was what 45, with just the difference between 45 and like 9 degrees warmer is huge. Yeah, 45 in here was miserable, and so we were over there by the right by the wood stove, staying warm while we were working on the engine.
Yeah,
Kim was doing most of it.
So I'm just slowly and precisely pulling apart the Slant 6, getting it ready for the new cam. Yeah, it's pretty mundane. There's not a lot to say about it, honestly. That's why there was not a lot of recording. We made a short that did well. Your short did well, right?
Short did real well.
Did anybody see the short?
Short on the.
Don't tell them.
On
If anybody saw
what I'm not
today's
supposed
short,
to tell you about.
if you saw today's short and you could tell us what it was about in one to 3 words,
What are you going to give points?
I'll give you a couple points because that means you're paying attention.
You're paying attention points.
I think a lot of people might be streamed out for the night because we're not getting a lot of people. Although you know what, usually
It's Sunday night.
when Jamie from Dead Dodge Garage, when he peters out, then we get a bunch of people who are
Yeah, he's probably
coming
on.
from there. Yeah, he's probably still going. So
I think there's a problem with this plastic gear. Oh,
I'll give you 2 points, buddy.
That means you watched
it. Yeah, we got a lot of very critical comments about that. Is that not working?
Doesn't work.
Wiggle that and plug it back in.
I did that. I did that a lot, and it didn't seem to make any difference. But I will. Maybe there's some kind of crud in there, and then maybe I don't know. But I can't turn that thing on and off because we got everything supported by it. Nope, nothing.
I'll figure it out later then.
Well, I want to charge the. I want to charge the.
Just turn it off for radio.
Buff faking a Slant 6 install. Cope. I was faking it. An install. Yeah, this thing doesn't seem to work.
It might be bad, but I think
bad one of those.
I think it's that charger. That charger's giving me gruff.
The charger's starting to give you crap.
It gave me gruff before.
Yeah, and there's no USBs on that strip. So kind of crashes here.
Welcome to stream,
long.
John Cope. Johnny C, you're right. It was about a distributor. Crashes Roadrunner Garage is here. Good evening. Hippie Long is here. Guys, Jamie's done. Well, all right. How was his stream? Was he entertaining? I saw it say something like cheap, fun entertainment or something like that for Sunday nights.
I prayed for you on New Year's Eve. I just pray for good health and peace, and I pray for all of us every day to be close to God, and especially.
That's a lovely prayer. Thank you,
and
Azan.
especially over there where you live. You're having a rough time, and we know that. Thank you. Cool. Just standing by the cherry picker. Oh, me. That thing. Yeah, that was short. What was that, Shorty? Yeah, I was standing by the. I even told her I'm just standing here. I said, yeah, she really did all the work, but I'm standing here.
No, that was 2 days ago. Today's was the one with the distributor gear.
Well, if I saw your boogers,
I must have been looking up your nose.
boogers. Did you mean to say boogers?
Probably did. Waylon Berger says, I seen the short on the plastic distributor gear earlier today. Plastic gear works because it's only driving the distributor and not an oil pump like a lot of engines do.
Well,
That's true. There's a different gear on the oil pump.
they're both driven by the same gear on the cam, but two different gears.
Yep. And if something jams the distributor from moving, you want the gear to strip off. And they last a long time, 30 or more years easily on those they're not plastic, they're like nylon or something like that. So
Well,
they're
it's
pretty
not
durable.
Yeah, there's something good about it because those engines just run forever. Kim says she's seen one strip before, but I never have, so I don't know.
Oh, we said you leaned in looking for a USB.
Oh, that's when I was
Were
leaning
you
in
able
there.
to see the hair
Then you
growing,
can see there. Oh, now I understand what
growing
you
out
mean.
of his
So when
brain?
I was like this, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like shove the camera up my nose. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong there. Oh, is that radio on?
Yeah.
Okay, let's turn the radio off. We're in charge mode. Yeah, every once in a while I've had these things, and every once in a while I've had one fail. I don't know what goes wrong in it, but maybe that one's bad. Maybe it just
that one's bad.
maybe it just needs to be clean. How do the cam and lifters look on the Slant? Well,
Not very good.
the lifters don't look very good. Kim pulled some of the lifters out just to show them here, but the cam is still in there.
That's what I want to get done tonight is get
She
closer to having that cam out.
She says she's going to go over there with another camera, and she wants to work over by the wood stove. But I like being over here where all our stuff is.
I only got one lifter out there, pain in the butt to get out.
Yeah, it's a lot easier once you get the head off there.
And I was thinking about not taking the cylinder head off, right? Then I realized that the part of the cylinder head gasket that goes around the lifter, is it a gallery? What's it called? Anyways, part of the cylinder head, that not the part that seals the cylinders, but the part that seals the oil, is it does not seal properly. So I have to take it back apart and use some of that gray RTV on the head gasket, outrated that edge just to make sure it seals up. Otherwise, that engine's going to weep forever anyways. So I got to take it off. So I guess we're going to use some copper spray gasket to seal it back up. I hate to do that, but I also don't really hate to do that.
The other thing is, head gasket doesn't have any time on it. It's probably fine. You could replace the head gasket, but
we'll see.
I had a friend when I was in the Air Force had a flathead Plymouth. It was a 48 Plymouth with a flathead 6, and it had 1 million miles on it. I don't know how many miles. It had a lot of miles on it. Had a blown head gasket or something happened. Had no compression, 1 cylinder, 2 cylinders, adjacent cylinders or something. And we pulled the head off of it, and he took the head gasket and sprayed copper coat on both sides, cleaned the surfaces off, sprayed copper coat on both sides of it. Old gasket. And the gasket, you could flip it over. And he flipped it over, put it on, bolted the head down, started up, it seemed to run fine. We were up in Northern California, and we drove to Southern California that weekend and drove it back up there. And it never missed a beat.
Try that again.
It was pretty good. So I was amazed that worked. Nothing.
Okay, maybe you are.
Do we have another one of those kind of things?
I don't know. I'll try it somewhere else.
I think there's
It's
probably
a
one
big
over there by the. I
distraction.
think there's one over there by the. Well, distractions are okay because that's the world, the way the world is. It's real.
Well, here I could plug it into the computer.
Oh, just plug the USB. Well, be careful doing that because you don't want to disrupt the
Well,
stream with
just
something
with
stupid.
the radio, it's that.
It's
It's
this
not working.
lit up already.
Yep.
It's charging.
Anyway.
We have a radio that's charging. Get out of the way. It's charging.
Was on praise that Ukraine war ends and there'll be peace. Oh man, I agree. War is awful. The things that are happening there are just, I don't know why we can't resolve that. I know there's,
Yeah, here we go. Buddy says, buy a new gasket. Why take a chance doing it for the third time? That would stink.
well,
He might be right. He might be right.
I won't have to take the engine out to do a head gasket. I know that for sure, or else I wouldn't even consider it.
We are people that don't have a lot of money, so sometimes we make decisions that uh,
That are dumb.
that are dumb.
I guess we're not looking for classic cars today. You know what? No, when we're in when we are in the shop, we don't have the green screen, and yeah, looking at cars is kind of, that's something we reserve for the Tuesday streams.
That's the Tuesday stream, and it's Tuesday night our time. Over where you are, it's probably Wednesday morning. Where you are. I'm not real familiar with the time zones there. I'm thinking that's like, I don't know what time zone you're in. Probably about 8 hours from us, something like that.
Wayland says sometimes a good retorque on the cylinder head bolts after a few heating and cooling cycles helps a lot too. Sometimes those bolts move quite a bit. On a Slant 6, they don't recommend retorque, and the gasket manufacturer doesn't recommend retorque. If it doesn't
Really?
seal, a retorque generally isn't going to help you. But maybe.
Something I always did
And
was
there may
retorque.
be people who have experience that says otherwise, and I'm open to it.
I was always taught to retorque, and I always did it, but I don't know.
It's specific usually to the type of engine for retorque. What were you told to retorque? Everything.
You know, everything. I was taught that in high school, and I built a lot of small block Fords, 289s, 351 Windsors. Those are, and then 429. Did one of those once. 360 Chrysler once. But most of my stuff was small block Fords. KJ Kiley, oh, the olden days, young and broke. Yeah, there's two times in my life was when I was young and broke, and then I worked and just money's going, and you just try to keep up with the world, and then you retire and you're back to young and broke again. Except you're not young and broke, you're old and broke. So yeah, it's just you just learn to live in a different income, and now of course my house is paid for because I did that when I was working. So I'm not paying rent, and I have a house and a shop. So yeah, it's different. It just kind of feels the same, but it's not nearly as stressful as when I was like my late teens, early 20s. Like right after I got out of the Air Force, trying to work and pay rent and do all that. Yeah, that was tough. Because in the Air Force, I always had a place to live, always had food. Didn't have a lot of money, but all those necessities I just had. Oh, and of course, medical care in the military. And then I got out of the military and I had to take care of all that stuff myself. Yeah, it's really stressful.
Um, Johnny C says, does the two-barrel manifold use the same carburetor linkage as the single? Sure wish GM would have those for the 250 straight six. Johnny C, no. It really, none of
This
it
this
interchanges
this is where
because
Kim's
the
engineering.
carburetor sits this way instead of this way.
Kim's engineering is pretty good. I've seen her do linkages that work so well.
The linkages for the two-barrel are, I don't want to say unobtainium, but absurdly expensive, like $100. And honestly, it is not that fancy. Some like threaded rod or some mild steel rod and a couple of pieces of old metal and some holes drilled in, you can fabricate. I have fabricated that kind of stuff several times for specifically for the Super 6, but yeah, they're easy for people to strip off of them and cheap to ship. So there's a lot of people who have scavenged them out of yards, and they're almost always missing from the setup at this point. I had them in the past, the original ones and whatever, but yeah, I know what it needs to look like, and I understand what it needs to do, like the geometry it has to, because now that I have an automatic, it has to have a kickdown linkage rod where you have to set up like a low car cable to the. I'll be able to make it.
I over here poking at my phone, I know, but I'm looking up because those on says he's a fan of the 1980 Taurus, and I wanted to make sure which that's first gen Taurus, and I wanted to see which one it was before I commented. I had one of those, and it was a station wagon, and then I had a Sable, a Mercury Sable that was the basically the same thing, and then the second generation, we had a Taurus, and we had again a Sable station wagon. So it's kind of funny we did the same thing twice, and then I guess after that we had a Taurus, a four-door Taurus for a while, and they were pretty good cars. Never had to do anything to them other than brakes and front wheel bearings.
Whalenberger says, I never heard about not retorquing Slant 6 engines. That's a new one to me. I have retorqued a lot of cylinder heads after a few heating and cooling cycles, especially on problematic engines. I don't think head gasket sealing problems are a big issue. I guess if the engine's been overheated, maybe, but Slant 6s usually can seal head gaskets, especially with a Velcros are thick things. But I'm pretty sure it says right on the gasket, no, do not retorque or no retorque required on Velcros. But you could do it, and they shouldn't be loose. Like if you put the torque wrench on them after a few heating and cooling cycles, they shouldn't really be very loose.
Look at what Terry
I don't
Mott.
think it would hurt much.
Look what Terry Mott wrote.
Oh, Terry Mott says Velcro gaskets were originally named felt products. The first gaskets were made from horse blankets. That's pretty cool.
Really? Johnny C sounds like a feat of engineering for sure. Boat Anchor says, what's the difference between a Cleveland and Windsor engine? A Windsor engine, the heads look very much like a 289 or a 302. Put your feet
on this card.
Okay, it looks very much like
very
much like a 289 or 302. Very traditional kind of an engine. And the Cleveland, there's a lot of differences, but they're both small blocks. But the Cleveland heads are having just enormous ports, and the valves are canted, and it's the coolant flows differently, but that really doesn't make a lot of difference as far as the performance goes. But a Cleveland will flow a lot more air. Kim's leaving for some reason. But he says, I like the Sable light up grill better than the Taurus. You know, my the first gen Sable wagon I had that light that went all the way across. And I was married then, and I liked to see that car coming. I knew it was my wife. So, and there were a couple of those, there's a bunch of light bulbs in there, and they're burned out. So I pulled all the bulbs out, and I put all amber bulbs in there. So that big wide light between the headlights was amber. And, man, you could see that car coming a mile down the road. If it like on the other side of the interstate or something, I go, oh, that's my car, and I know it was mine. So, yeah, I liked them when they were amber. But yeah, it looked like a headlight all the way across the front of the car. So Cleveland and Windsor engines, get back to that. If you follow some of this, like Dallas Brown, he's got what they call a Cleaver engine, which is the bottom end is a Windsor and the top end is Cleveland stuff. But there's some things you have to do, like the coolant doesn't flow exactly the same, so there's some holes you have to drill, and you have to make make it so the coolant will work. And there's some other things like the size of the bearings, the main bearings and the rod bearings are different, and there's reasons why you might want that or not want it. But if you watch Dallas Brown, I mean, they should be on this coming Tuesday night on the AHRA at 7 o'clock Central. They do a 2 hour. It's all technical stuff, but you could ask a question in there, and he'd answer that. What he likes about the bottom end of the Windsor better, and of course the Cleveland, the heads, they flow. Let's see, like port size winds, engine or air pumps. Yeah, I had Windsors that ran okay, but they were 351 Windsor. It was in my 64 Ford. It ran fine, but it was a okay running 350 something horsepower engine in a 64 Ford Galaxy. It was just a nice warmed over 351. Good engine for my Galaxy. I'm not going to win any races with it, but certainly faster than what it was. See, Ozon, I watched D-Max TV America scrap program, and they turn old scrap cars into brand new luxury cars. I watched in amazement. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Is that a TV show? Or I mean, they're going to take old scrap cars and melt them down and make them into anything. Wayland I have had some head gaskets that didn't relax after a few heating and cooling cycles, and the bolts didn't move on retorque. Depends on the gasket. It doesn't hurt to recheck. I'm talking about head gaskets that are bent. We got a head gasket for when we were doing my Slant 6. We got a gasket set from Rock Auto, and they put it in a smaller box, and they folded the head gasket in half. It's like, you idiots. But I got right online, told them what happened, and they sent me a label to send it back. And I sent it back, and the next day I had a new one. So they had already sent me a new one before they even got the other one. And the second one wasn't folded in half. I can't believe anybody would fold a head gasket in half. But somebody did it. Somebody packing boxes did that. I'm sure they heard about it afterwards. Dan Jackson, welcome to the chat. Got a Slant 6 on my log splitter. What?
I heard somebody saying that.
It was my log splitter. My log splitter is bigger than your log splitter competition that spun out of control. Fine little engine.
Oh, it's a good engine. It's kind of heavy though. It's not a little engine. It's a heavy engine. For a log splitter, it's a little bit of.
How is modified different? Not sure what you mean. You mean like the small block Fords, the 351Ms, the modified, and the 400s? They were higher deck height. They were smog engines, but you can make them run. They have a head that's very similar to Cleveland, but I don't know. I think the ports were smaller and some things, and the bell housing was the same bolt pattern, I believe, as the 429 and 460. So they were quite a bit different, but you can make them run. I know people that have made them run. What are you doing? Oh, you're messing with you got your cam. That, not camshaft, but camera, that kind of cam. Oh, there we are. Kim's over there doing something, but now I have to remove the camera. So my camera.
The problem with the folded head gasket is I think they folded one of the fire rings, and if you fold a fire ring, it's gone. It's wasted. You can't fix it. So
I think they drove a Mercury Sable in movie Coneheads. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I've never seen it. I would like to make that short with the balance puller.
Oh, you want me to go over there?
Yeah, but we can still stream, and they can still see what's happening.
You wonder if your 85 Corvette 350 small block has 4-bolt mains. I don't know the answer to that. Not good, a folded gasket. Yeah, no kidding. I got the box. I go, this isn't big enough for a head gasket. And open it up. The head gasket's folded over in there. It's like, what kind of idiot would do this? We were at it on the kitchen table, just laughing at it in amazement. Went right into my computer. They sent me another one. before I even sent the other one back. They sent me another one.
Yeah.
So they're, you know, Rock Auto took care of us. It was only like a day delay too. Okay, so you want me to go over there? We got a film without film video, a short, and she wants me to do it over there with her. So I'm gonna have to walk over there. We'll switch the camera, but I won't be able to follow the. Oh, look at that! I won't be able to follow the chat real well for.
You'll be able to see the chat on the little screen in the
Okay,
middle.
but you got me busy over there. Okay,
I know. I'm gonna put you to work.
you're gonna put me to work. Okay, or I'm gonna have to explain something. Look like I know what I'm doing.
Look like I know what you do. That's not gonna be easy.
I'm real good at patience.
Oh, you know what? They're not gonna be able to hear very good.
No, yeah. Can you? What's the microphone look like when I'm talking over here?
Let me see if I can make the microphone on the cat work.
Where's this camera? I don't even know which way I'm facing. Oh, there's the camera. Don't put your butt toward the camera. Put your face toward the camera. Okay. Man, there's a hell of a delay over here. You know?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay. That's what they're used to
I
seeing.
hear it like 30 seconds later on your computer.
They hear fine, they said. You're on the wrong end of it.
Wrong end of what?
I guess I can move that Slant 6 and you can do it from that end. You can't see the.
Can you see me right now? Look in the camera. What about when I'm sitting here? Right?
Yeah, I see your sitting there.
Okay. Nothing's set up here. Those fine are they coarse? They're coarse. Of course they're coarse.
I don't really need you to set it up. I just want you to talk about this. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I don't know exactly what you want to do.
First thing I want you to do is
You're
don't.
standing. You got your butt toward the camera block.
Well,
So I just want you to know.
Thank you.
So I don't know what you want me to do.
All right. Well, let's script it out.
See, we do this sometimes, try to script something out. Nobody ever sees this nonsense.
Nonsense all the time. All right. So what I want you to basically say is, so we need to pull this main pulley off of it. It's not a pulley.
It's vibration.
It's a vibration damper. So you can't pull on the outside or we'll rip the rubber dampening part out of it. So we use this special kit. And this master kit like this has metric and oh, you always tell me I'm saying it. I would say it.
SAE.
SAE. Bolts.
Yeah, people say standard. Well, if you're in Europe, metric standard look like a real pool, and we got an international audience, so we're going to say metric or SAE instead of standard. I was in England, and a guy over there. I got to tell everybody this.
Yeah.
A bunch of Americans over there with friends, and on an airplane, and one of our guys goes, he's a smart aleck kid. He goes, "Is this thing metric or is it standard?" And this British Army officer looks at me and goes, "It's metric and it is standard." Which I thought was pretty funny.
So but I want you to try and look at me because you know what's in that. Just
Sort of.
say those things.
I mean, to do it right, I have to assemble it.
I don't want you to assemble it. I just want you to show that it has all the pieces.
Okay, I think I can get through this. Okay, let's just start. I'll wing it and I will get through it short.
Okay.
Just tell me whenever I'm supposed to start.
Ready, set.
Okay, this Slant 6, we've got to pull this. This looks like a pulley, but it's actually a vibration damper because there's rubber in here. And if we get a pulley that grabs us here and we'll ruin it because we'll mess up this rubber. So we have this thing, this puller. And what this puller does is there's 3 bolt holes right here. and you set this up. This thing screws down through here, so you're pulling on the center part. When you screw this down, it pulls it out. This whole kit is made so you can, it'll fit all kinds of different things. So you can pull stuff that has 2 or 3 bolts, and we're gonna do that. Just take it off. But right now, I just want to show what this kit looks like, which is a kind of a universal. So, puller kit, you gotta have.
45 seconds, and I thought it was really good. Do you want to do it again?
No, I don't.
You didn't say anything about it having metric and standard.
Metric and SAE.
It's standard.
I think we got it done. I'm gonna go back over there where it's warm.
Where it's warm over here.
Yeah, I know, but I got a little heater over there. Well, I want to be over there where I buy the chat and I can read the chat easier. And where it's not like 2 minutes behind over here. And you're gonna work on this. You're gonna show how this works to everybody else. Like, you're gonna actually pull it off.
Yeah, I'll put it on there, and then you can do the pull off part. You can come back. Go ahead, go back over to your spot.
You're gonna make it do 2 shorts.
I'm gonna make you keep doing them. Everything we do that's significant, I want you to do. Yes, yes, that's how it works. It's working.
Okay, and I can split the camera cam, not camshaft cam. I'm over here, but I see you, not me. Okay, I go back to scene. Oh, there's me. There's you. How do I get both? Scene 2. There we go. Okay, how am I going to do this? Nope, wrong way. Wrong way, Corrigan. Again.
Oh yeah, that looks better.
I'm almost there. There. So that way, see, I've got I have to have, if somebody sends a super chat, I got to light up the Studebaker. So that's got to be in the view. Okay, Kim, we got your back. We see your back.
Okay.
Okay, let's see here. Too long when Buff smiles at the end, it will twinkle and go ding. That's a good shorts right there. The metric joke. Oh, I've done shorts on metric. Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I did the one about the British Army officer. Yeah, I should do that in a short. That was really funny, because if you knew the 2 characters, it was even more funny, because the guy that was the American was one of these, the people. There's always one person in the group that thinks they know everything, and he's one of those guys. And the British Army officer is kind of all business. He's a really sharp engineer, good guy, and his answer was perfect. I had to laugh. Oh, this camera's still crooked. I want this camera straighter. It's still crooked. Why is it crooked? This camera's not doing what I want it to do. Make it squat a little. Make it do this. Make it do that. If you all saw that camera, you would laugh. This little tiny camera on the end of like a little hose. Kim, we're all looking at your back. Got a nice ponytail there. Buddy Carafano says, looks like a steering wheel puller. Yeah, it's a massive steering wheel puller. That thing's huge. I've got a steering wheel puller, looks like one of those, except it's like tiny. I had a big snap-on puller set, and I lent it to a guy. And the next day I was trying to get it lent it to a guy who worked in a tire shop 2 doors down from me. And the next day that I went to get it, because he was working on his car at night, went down there and said, oh, he quit. Last night was his last night. It's like, what? He took my snap-on puller, big kit. I didn't mean to lend it to him forever. Oh, God, that was in the 80s. It's the kind of stuff that happens. Oh, it says little cameras can be okay these days. Yeah, this is like a little tiny thing that was inside a camera. And Kim took it all apart because it wasn't working right and just took the piece out that was the camera and mounted it on a post over here. And we just left it that way because it worked so well when it wasn't all wrapped up in its camera case. I know how I can do this. You'll laugh. I will take a picture. I'll do a John Wilburn.
Did you say John Wilburn chair?
No, I'm going to do a John Wilburn. And John Wilburn is this. Okay, where am I? I don't know where I am. Jeez. See that camera on a post? The thing just sticking up little lens on top of a thing. That's a camera we're using. It works so well. It's amazing clear. It is, isn't it? It's not the best camera in the world. It was a cheap thing. It was part of a cheap camera, and now it's.
I mean, for $40, it's.
It was a $40 camera that you took apart and took the image maker out of it.
I mean, it's stupid clear. It's unbelievable that it can be that good. That cost.
KJ Kylie says, hopefully you had nothing but bad luck with that puller. Yeah, it was a nice puller set. Mrs. One-Eyed Cat's here. Hello, good evening. Says Kim, turn the camera. Yeah, Kim, you're not centered up at all.
I'm just doing some stuff.
Oh, she's just getting ready, I guess. She's just getting ready, and yeah, but the engine's not in the engine's not in because I've only got half of it up. I could put. I know how I can fix that problem.
No. I can turn the camera.
I can do that. Now you can. Okay, now let me put it back. Ah, there. Now you got the engine in it. Yeah, because I split it because I've got you and me in it, but I can take me out of it.
So much delay. It's not easy to line up. Oh yeah, that's fair.
Oh, you finally got there to you?
Yeah.
Think about where that picture went. Went in the camera, went through this.
Might have gone through space.
Went through somewhere. Yeah, probably went through space. Went through Google. Came back, went through all that nonsense again, and then hit your computer. And it took a few seconds. It's actually amazing.
Pretty impressive.
John Johans or Johans. Which is it? John Johans. There you go. Good to see you. Buddy Carfano, most important.
Sorry, I'm going to run a chainsaw for a moment.
You're going to run a chainsaw.
Just for a moment.
Buddy Carfano says, most important shop rule, never let people borrow tools, either broke or never seen again. You know, I've been a nice guy, and most times, more noise.
I lied. I'm done now.
Most times you lend people tools, you just get them right back. But then, sometimes you don't.
And there's the people who ruin it for.
And the people you don't want to loan tools to are people that don't buy tools. Because there's people that have a toolbox that are working a shop, and there's just something they don't have, and they borrow yours, and then they give it right back. But to somebody that doesn't buy tools, they have no clue how much tools are worth. They act like they're free or something, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And I worked with a guy, he never bought his own tools. He wasn't in an auto shop, but he just wherever he used it, that's where you were going to find it, on the floor near where he was working. You know, one-eyed cat. Mrs. One-eyed cat. I'm going to take something to eat. I'm going to get some. I'm going to get something to eat, and I gotta go to bed. Just checking in. Okay. Well, thanks for coming by. Uh, yeah, we can see the engine, and we can see part of you. Hippie long. So because of you two, I pulled out my Maverick and Barracuda and washed them. It was like a barn find all over again. Wow, a Maverick. What kind of Maverick? 2-door, 4-door? What year? They made Mavericks for a while. Also, anyone heard anything from Lammy lately? Lamb Chop. I never knew him. I kind of came in after all that.
Last we heard from him, he's doing well, but then again, we heard some rumor that we're not going to repeat.
Oh.
So
I don't know. I don't know anything about Lamb Chop.
Yeah.
He was.
I have not heard from him since when we got the title for the car. He was doing well at that time.
That's not Lamb Chop.
That's not Lamb Chop? Who's Lamb Chop?
Lamb Chop was the original guy that was working on Bottle Rocket with.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Got a big beard, and he drove it one night, and Tony got all mad because he didn't do very well.
Okay.
But Tony shouldn't have gotten mad, and Tony apologized afterwards, but it turned into a big mess. So I never knew Lamb Chop. I came in right after that. I was watching then, but I didn't know Tony yet. And you're thinking of the guy we got the title from on the guy that was half the owner on the Valiant, and that was a different individual. Yeah, and he's doing fine. The last thing I know, I haven't talked to him in a while. That was I should know his name. I just saw it tonight. Stubby. Yeah, it was Stubby. Last thing I knew, I haven't seen Stubby in over a year. And Stubby had a little tiny baby and new family, and he was working, and, young guy trying to get through life, trying to work and pay the bills, and he seemed pretty happy. Paul says, I have some tools specifically for lending. Some I won't let out of my sight. Yeah. Buddy Carafano says, lend a screwdriver to a guy. He used it as a chisel. Using a screwdriver for a chisel is okay if it's your own and you know the risks and you know what you're doing. I even have a couple of crappy cheap screwdrivers I sharpen. I use them for scrapers down in places where you can't scrape with anything big, But that's my tool, But yeah, I don't like when I lend stuff out and it doesn't come back.
All right, I got a job for you.
You got a job for me. Okay, let's see. Let me get caught up. Dean Stevenson's here. Good evening. Olive says, I mostly know Wendy and Colleen, mostly from Lammy's Hot Wheels drag races from the pandemic. Oh, yeah, that's right. He was doing that stuff too. Oh, I didn't know they were even in there. Shaquille is here. Good evening. More of an international show tonight. Hippie Long, I sent pictures last Tuesday. 72 Maverick, green, white, vinyl top, 65 Barracuda, Commando, 4-speed, wire gold stripe. Okay, I'll have to look. Yeah, KJ Kylie Lamb Chop 4 or 5 years ago now. You Stevenson. Okay, I'm going to walk over there where Kim is. I'm going to be away from the chat for a few minutes, and she wants me to do another short.
We'll still be able to see the chat.
Yeah, well, except over there's kind of a delay. So.
Yeah. Actually, there's no delay on the chat. No, the chat goes just as fast as the but there's your bucket right there.
I can use this bucket.
Push that bucket.
See, I sit on buckets.
No, it's in the right place.
Close to that.
Perfect.
My ass is too wide.
Setup is. You probably guessed. Wouldn't it?
You gave me a thread chaser. Am I demonstrating that too?
Yeah.
I've got to show the thread chaser.
Right. Now.
How'd you move? Why?
Okay. So before we can, Kim put a bunch of orange paint on here. She clogged all these threads up with the WD-40s behind you, so you can grab that. You're gonna need it without. Use it. So we don't. Maybe we don't want. We have a lot of holes to thread. We probably need a better set than this. This cheap one will work to clean paint out of threads real well. It's great to have a multi-size master
This is
set
too
like
short.
this. No.
Well, I got to do all this in 60 seconds.
Do you think you could do it, or do you need me to script?
Oh, I thought I had to do this and
No.
that's why I said this is too short.
The puller is gonna have to be a
A
separate.
separate thing. I should have. That's what I said.
But
you can understand what.
I don't need you to look at the engine very much.
Look at you, long line spraying oil all over the place and missing the engine altogether. We go through this all the time because she wants me to look at the camera and I can't see what I'm doing. I mess the job up.
At least start.
I'm a WD-40 salesman.
We'll turn it around. Want to take one?
No. Let's just go.
Ready? Set.
Okay, we have to pull this off, which means we got to put the puller. There's bolts that go in here. This engine's been painted. It's been all clogged up with paint. Those holes. So I'm spraying a little WD in there because it's not the best thing, but it's enough to clean paint out. And then we're going to take this thread chaser. Whoa. And we're going to run. Oh, that's worse than I expected. Jim, what the heck's going on here? This is really a bad thing. There, and then you chase the paint out of there. Like that. And of course, you do all three holes, but there you go. Now you can get the bolt in there.
Okay, you did it wrong. The idea was not to. This is a tool short, not a how to clean a thread short.
You tell me.
I did. I tried to. You understand what I want to show.
No.
I want you to. Okay, I want you to show that a cheap set, tap and dies, might not be very good. It might not be very strong or durable. It's excellent for this use. To clean paint out of your existing threaded holes. There's a whole roll right behind you. Don't throw tools on. Do you want me to get the other one? The better one?
No. Your whole point is you can use a cheap one.
See, he understands.
I didn't understand it at first.
Chat, let me know. Was I unclear the first explanation?
Maybe I thought I knew what you
That's
wanted. Okay, so do I talk about this or I don't even care about this? Okay, just go.
You've got the props.
I'll try to do it better.
You've got the props.
It's a propeller. Okay, let's go.
Ready, set.
You gotta pull this off here, which means you gotta have to put some bolts in here, but there's some paint in there. We gotta get the paint out of there. So I'm gonna put some WD-40 in those holes, and then you don't need the best puller or the best thread chaser in the world. You use this cheap cheap tap and die set, which you buy a whole set for like $19 from where a couple places that have Chinese tap and die sets. Anyway, you run that down there and back out again, get the paint out of there. But you don't need, like $100 tools for this, and then you drop them on the floor. So probably ruin the tap. That's a terrible short.
All right.
I gotta redo that because I dropped it. See how bad I hurt it. I think it must have hit on the other end. This is a piece of shit. It doesn't hold the tap very well.
Oh, you didn't change the view. Let's finish the
Does
shot.
everybody see me or not? They don't see me?
No, but they can see your hands.
There's so much going on
It's
here.
good practice. Good practice.
Okay, let's see if I can keep from screwing it up. Take 3. Okay, we're gonna pull this pulley off here. To do that, we use a puller. The puller has to screw bolts into these holes, but the bolts won't go in because there's paint in there from painting the engine. We gotta get that paint out of there. And we want to show that you don't need expensive tools for that. This whole tap and die set's like $19 or something. And you screw this in there. All you're doing is taking paint out. It's not like you're making new threads. And then you got to be careful because that will fall off there if you're not careful. But anyway, you clean those threads out with a cheap tool like this, and now you can get the bolts in there. And I'll wipe that off there, clean it up a little bit anyway. Cheap tap and die set, there are good uses for it, so keep one in the shop.
51 cents. That one was. Yep, on a day when it's cold and we're late. But I don't
Go back to my
get out.
Back to my place.
Sick of looking at you. Get out of here.
Everybody's sick of this. Got videos of us shooting videos.
They like to see the process.
The
They
process.
enjoy it. I'm telling you. They're inspired. You don't like the way we're doing it, do it better.
So is everybody inspired, like Kim says? Where's the hand cleaner? It disappeared. Let's see. Bus career was better before talkies were invented. Gotta love that Harbor Freight stuff. Yeah.
Hey, it's really hard when somebody else throws a script at you. It really is.
Tim, Dean, how warm is it down there? It's -6°C here in Colorado. No snow out here. We sent it all to Buff and Kim's back east. Yeah, it's north of us, but I think we're gonna get a little bit down here. Hippie Long says, "Good job. That was fun." Yeah, I think we're gonna get a little snow here right after midnight or so, but that's an hour away, and I don't. It'll probably be like a little dusting.
This might be our last warmest day for a while, actually.
Kim says this will be our last warm day. This is not a warm day, Kim.
I know, but it's only supposed to get colder than this in the foreseeable forecast.
Oh no, it's supposed to get colder. As long as there's no moisture with that. I'm waiting for the next front to come up from the south, which is a nice thing about Tennessee. The warm fronts come up from the south, cold fronts come down from the north. That's not good, but then you just wait for the next warm front to come up from the south. Oh, says I have a set of cheap Harbor Freight tap and dies, just in case anyone actually brings me anything SAE one day. Yeah, you know what
so she can re-tap it.
So I have I need to get a cheap. I was just telling Kim this, I don't know, a month or so ago. I need to get another one of those cheap sets, and I want to get the metric one because I had that one when I was working on aircraft, and I bought it because there were some holes that needed to be chased, and I didn't want to buy an expensive tap and die set for that.
You know what though? You said that it's only $19 or something.
Yeah,
I bet
what?
you this is $45 on Amazon now.
It's 45 on Amazon.
I'll bet you it is. Ask
Oh, I
somebody
don't
to
know.
look it up. Tell
Yeah,
me.
somebody look up that cheap SAE.
This one came from Harbor Freight. Can you see
Yeah, it's
it?
a Harbor Freight. Yeah, we can see it sort of. It doesn't focus real well, but we
It's
can
a
see it.
40-piece carbon steel set.
40-piece carbon steel uh, SAE tap and die set. Somebody will come up with a price.
Yep.
Terry Mott, I'm in Northwest Indiana, so it's between us. Yeah, there's a big old cold, wet thing right between us. Yeah. So you're in Northwest Indiana. You're up there with up there near John Cope. John Cope Racing Transmissions. Let's see here. Do you know John? Let's see here. Dean says answer 16 degrees Celsius is equal to 60.8 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, we care about that 0.8. Yeah, you see, and what I always remember is a standard day is 15, which is 59 Fahrenheit. So when we're flying, it was always, you're looking at standard day is 15 and had to do the math to fix whatever testing you were doing. Oh, it says we'll be getting cold for a while in the southeast. Yeah, that's January. I always tell people, by the end of February, there's already flowers and probably not leaves on the trees yet, but you're done with the cold here in Tennessee. Middle Tennessee's done with that by the end of February. And then what I'm really looking forward to is March 8th. March 8th is the countdown because that's when we change the clocks back. And stays a little later. Dean Stevenson, hi, Mrs. One-Eyed Cat. You're acing it. Dean Stevenson at 6:10 p.m. It was just about 80 Fahrenheit here today at 3 p.m. Yeah, it's probably still light out though. Oh, that's what I got. It was given to me by someone who probably didn't know what it was for. Dr. Go just got home from a 6-hour drive around. Oh, so what is that? Chicago town? But I think that's what that is. Looks like Chi Town, but I don't know what that is. So what I always just hear was Chicagoland. And to the north, we have no snow, and Indy and middle of the country is getting the snow and ice storm. Just past northwest Indiana late this afternoon. Buddy Carfana says $35 on Amazon.
There you go.
There you go.
Thank you, Buddy Carfana. You can have 2 points. Is that enough?
So Buddy Carfana gets 2 more points. So that's that's what it costs now. Yeah, I bought it several years ago. So yeah, Tim says at least our days are getting longer. Yeah, we're on the uphill side now. Oh yeah, and because you're next to Pikes Peak, it's dark by 4 p.m. Oh man, I'd hate that. Also says handling olive tools is usually the move in my tribe. Lester LeSabre, Pittsburgh, 57.18. What is that? 57.18. I'm lost. Dean Stevenson, yeah, it's sundown at 9:31 p.m. Wow. Terry Mott, yours may not be China made. Okay, let's see here. What was I going to look up? I know. I was going to look up the weather to see what we're supposed to have. It's 44 outside right now. And they're not even predicting snow anymore. They're saying we're supposed to have some light rain and snow at 5 a.m. for like less than an hour. So that's going to be some kind of light snow. 27 degrees Fahrenheit by morning. Boo. And then out in the future, yeah, it's going to be cold. But nothing like last year or two where it was below zero. Coldest day looks like it's going to be 16 on Wednesday, 16 Fahrenheit. That's cold enough for me. It's way too cold for me. But that below zero stuff, that was terrible. Boat Anchor says, I found an EGR valve on Amazon for $78 for the vet. Oh, yeah, you've got to make that work because you're in the state where they make all that stuff work. Yeah, a 1985 car, and you got to meet all the, like it was new. So, Dean, so my family is able to mooch out in the sun chair at tea and for supper as well. So Saber says Harbor Freight tap and die set. Yeah, that one I did get from Harbor Freight. I got it up in Maryland when I was up there because I needed it, and the company wasn't going to buy one, and I needed to chase some threads on something. And I don't remember SAE. It had to be something aircraft because the engines were all metric, but the airframes were all AN hardware, which is SAE. Hippie Long, my thoughts on heads and torque. If you torque a head, especially at 40 degrees temperature, all the metal is shrunk as tight as it will ever shrink. So 55-pound torque is 62-pound when hot. Dr. Goat, isn't there ice passing through Kentucky and snow passing through Indianapolis? Yeah, I think it is. I think that's kind of where everything is. Has anyone heard for Tavo? Yes, we did on the live that we had 2 nights ago. And he said other than pain, and he's doing okay. The worst part is the pain. And he said he couldn't stick around because he was on his way to work. So he's working. Oh, yeah, and Dean is also reporting that same thing. Okay, for anybody who wants to see, we right here are the blue dot. I don't know if you can see the blue dot. Oh, come on. And there is the, what the heck? Why did that zoom? I didn't want that to, it went nuts. My phone went nuts. All of a sudden I'm in Mexico. Why am I in Mexico? Let's try not to do that. Okay, we're the blue dot that's near Nashville, and you can see where all the cold is up north. So everybody can see the radar. Oh, Dean says he raised the roof on his VG Valiant. Hey, buddy. Tim, so he can get back to putting that roof on his car. You've never tried that before. Yeah, I'm gonna try something like that. Oh, look at what Kim's got set up. I wasn't watching Kim. You got like a impact hanging from a bolt. Dean, the L82 is such a great, easy engine to get parts for. Oh, is that the one for Boat Anchor's car? Is that an L82? I'm not sure. He's got the 350 Chevy that's in an 85 Corvette, and it's one of the last ones that has flat tappet lifters. My 87, the engine looks the same on the outside as his, but the 87 is the first one to have roller cam in it.
Okay, you want to redeem yourself? Do this short again? There. This time I'm going to try not to drop it on the floor.
Bought Imperial wrench set at a tag sale. Never used them. Oh, Boat Anchor says it's an L98. Okay, I got to go over there again. And you're going to change the view. Okay, I'm headed over there again.
I have to put my hands and touch your phone. With soap.
It is warm. Oh, I got so many bad comments the last time I did this. I got so many bad comments.
Yeah, that's because you did a terrible job.
Oh, well, and then everybody said that I'm supposed to just pull a little and tap around there and let it come off and pull a little more and tap around
Okay, well,
there.
here, let me say,
Well, wait a minute.
Say the whole thing. I got so many bad comments. No, you don't want to say.
I guess why not? Then just invite a bunch more bad comments.
You ready?
Yeah, okay. Last time I pulled one of these off, I just went after it, but then I lost control of it and it fell on the ground. Man, I got so many bad comments. Everybody told me I should, or not everybody, a lot of people told me I was just supposed to put a little pressure, tap on it, put a little more pressure and tap on it. Then I watched a video with one of the best engine builders in the country, and you know what he did? Is this set up to go the right way? He did this. And he didn't drop it on the floor. So I did what that engine builder did. So the pulley's off, or the vibration damper's off. How long? Okay.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That's great, yeah. Unless you want to do it.
No, I don't. Then you gotta put it back on.
That's I gotta see what your view looks like. You want to go back to the split?
I'm going back to split. I'm here. I just gotta find it. Nope. That's the wrong choice. There's the right choice.
Yeah, that looks good. We joke.
Kim's got Buff working for his points tonight. It's no longer slanted. That's right. We turned it straight up and down.
Yeah, that's right.
It made it an up and downy instead of a. What did somebody write in one of the comments? The reason it's a slant 6 is so when it fails, it chucks its pistons off the side of the road. Somebody put that in the comment.
That's kind of fun.
Oh, it says, I think a lot of crumbles fell off that. Check the rubber. Dean, roller cam, TPI, Gen 2 changes. My friend's 85 L98 is a flat tappet hydraulic. Yeah, I had a friend that had an 85 Corvette and I had an 87. But he bought his new. I bought mine after it was ancient. But mine had the roller cam. Kim.
Yeah.
Can everybody hear Kim over there? Let's hear a sample of Kim.
It's a sample of Kim. Can you hear the Kim?
Can everybody hear Kim?
Can everyone hear me?
Nobody's saying anything. I don't know.
Does it show up on the bar?
Yeah, I could see it on the bar. I don't know how well they can hear you though. But
yeah, probably shows up. Wow, what's up?
Well, I'm coming up with a plan.
Okay.
Where they're going to need to hear you. But I don't have the plan complete. Hippie Long says yes. I assume that means yes, they can hear Kim. Okay, I am going to put it back on the cat. And the cat is that. So now
We call it the cat because the
the
product name is El Gato.
El
which
Gato.
means the cat in Spanish.
Okay. Tuck. I need to take a break.
You need to take a break.
I need to take a break. So
Okay.
you are now. You might be able to see chat. I don't know.
Well, yeah. It's over there, so
I am going to hand you a radio. Oh, we're gonna show. I got to show you this. This is how dumb Chinese stupid stuff. This is what the radio says when you turn it on.
Open to radio. 2.
Open to radio. What the hell? Whose translation is that? Okay. So, Kim,
yeah.
I gotta get through.
Yes, you do.
It's really warm right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's your radio. Taking my radio and my flashlight. But I can't get out the door because you got more stuff.
Oh, that's right. I have to teach you.
Radio. 2.
See, when we're walking around at night out here in the yard, we have a radio, so one of those spill or something. Just call it.
Don't gonna think too much because it'll hit the camera.
No, I'm just gonna slip on. I'll be back. Okay?
Yes. Who's saying stuff? Go over here. I'm coming over to you guys. Because you know what? It's just on me. I can move over here. Coming over to the other camera. And you guys will be able to hear good. There. Look, see how simple? Oh, this heat feels good. Who all's here still? Well, there's a lot of people here. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the stream. We're just working in the shop while we have a reasonable, it's not too cold today for a change. Right out into the winter, that's right. Wilford Brimley. I don't think he likes the Wilford Brimley reference, but I see it a little. I see it a little. Lester LeSaver, good to see you here. Dr. Go, hi. Tell Mrs. Dr. Go thank you and hello from us. Tim is still here. Dean Stevenson is here. Nice. Hippie Long. We joke because we love you. That's right. I think a lot of crumblies fell off that. Check the rubber. I checked it. It was okay. Replacement ones are pretty expensive. It would have to be in pretty bad shape for me to replace it. And I did check the index on it, and it's indexed properly, so it's good. I'm still here, but should check on the wood stoves a minute, Olive says. Well, yeah, check on your stove. It's okay. We'll be here. We're not doing anything all that interesting or important or groundbreaking. KJ Kiley says you guys are getting slick with the camera work. Well, yeah, that's my job, is to make sure that the stream remains visually compelling, because otherwise you guys will go watch something else, because you guys have a lot of choices. And if we aren't entertaining, as entertaining as possible, and what was entertaining yesterday will get stale. So we have to keep upping our game. So yeah, lots to do. Dr. Go, you're going to be building engine stuff in the spring, huh? I was looking a lot into this 318 build. There's a lot too. 318s were in production for so long. Like they built them for a long time and they made changes, and there's a lot to know. Figures it says it's going to run ads in a minute. If you get an ad, sorry, but also tell us who was sponsoring us. What was the ad about? Bruce, don't bring me down. The radiator cap on my Dodge Colt Mitsubishi reads keep closed usually. Well, that's nice. Boat Anchor CB radio repair says I'm still here. Well, I'm glad you are enjoying us enough to stick around. He'll be back in a minute. I'm just trying to get I would like to get the cylinder head off and the cam out of that engine tonight, but I don't know. Kim, do you still have a clutch pedal set? Yeah, I didn't change the pedals out in the car. Because the pedals as they are, the car will operate with those pedals just fine. So the idea was, before we started pulling the engine back out, was to get the car so that it could move under its own power again, so we could get it out of here and work on some other things. Dr. Go says after you, so yes, Hippie Long, I do have three pedals, and I don't know if I'm going to try and swap it out. I don't really need the wide brake pedal. Um, we'll see. We'll see. No plans right now on messing with the pedals. That other pedal the clutch pedal just sits on the floor. Dr. Go says, after you guys mentioned the cam thing and Professor P, then I caught John Wilburn's live, and Professor P, who is of Slant, he's with Edelbrock Group, and people who are in the No Name Nationals have the option to get some hopeful discounts through through our affiliation with those groups. And you know what, Dr. Go, I did not know about the whole login thing. I just knew if you contacted Professor P directly that he would be able to get us some discounts. I didn't know that we were all going to get our own logins and be able to look at prices and stuff like that. So that's actually something even more recent than what I knew about. I found out about it when you found out about it. That was cool. So Hippie Long asks, is your drive shaft ball and trunnion? No, it's not. No, I don't know what year they stopped doing that. I think that it is ball and trunnion drive shafts. I don't know. I think those ended in the 50s. Buddy Carafano got a bars leak commercial. Wow, that's oddly appropriate. I could see that. Okay. Okay. What are they trying to say about our project? John let us know right away. Dr. Bombay. Yeah, John keeps us posted about important stuff. Boat Anchor CB Radio got a Granger ad. That's appropriate. That makes perfect sense, right? That seems targeted. Yeah, I've bought some stuff at Granger. That's a good place to search for more heating and air conditioning, but industrial and mechanical things. Yeah, yeah. When I was doing plumbing, there were a couple times I went searching for things at Granger. And if you have a good, if you have an account, I think Granger's the kind of place that you usually have to have an account. So it's more like a business to business kind of place. But yeah, Granger's can be it. Johnny C says Dave's Bread. Was that your commercial? Was a Dave's Bread commercial? That's different. Dean says my friend Skyland GTR we use Sortan air on the aluminum wheel rims. Spartan air. TM. I see. It just got to be the right kind. In risk is great stuff. Very special. I'm confused. I'm not sure what I missed right there. Dr. Go says I will be checking out to see if I can get some 318 stuff. Been slowly collecting parts over the past 2 years. We will see what I can save up for. Yeah, I have a wish list for my Slant 6 and for my 318 builds. I think I need to stay focused on the Slant 6 though, because financially I have to be careful not to spread myself too thin, and I have done that in in the past. He must have gone up to the house for something. Oh, I know. I have an idea why he went up to the house. Can anybody guess why he had to go all the way to the house and isn't back yet? Yeah. I have been putting away my pennies for an aftermarket torque converter, but I don't know that I don't think I can swing it. It's very expensive. It's real expensive for me, for a Slant 6 build. He is not smoking a blunt, KJ Kylie, but Buddy Carafano is probably right. You could have said it a little more elegantly, Buddy, but I think you probably have got it there. Oh, that's just nitrogen. Does anybody believe in that nitrogen thing? Or is that just a way to mark up the price? Does anybody have like really positive experiences about their nitrogen? Bad attitude C10 with the euphemism. Oh, I understand, Dean. I'm not going to repeat it, but I understand. I wonder if we could pass the hat. Dr. Go says Professor P and John Wilburn mentioned Professor P is on a Wednesday AHRA thing. I need to check out as they will answer technical questions. They answered a good tech question for me last Friday. Dr. Go, I didn't realize you didn't know about the AHRA stream. And Dallas Brown of the AHRA, he's the president of the organization. He's on his way back. All right, I'm just sitting in front of the chat here talking with people. Um, yeah, Dallas Brown and Professor P do the Tech Talk on Wednesday night on the AHRA channel, and they talk tech. They get deep in the weeds, and they're not afraid to we are careful not to spend too much time getting into anything too specific or too detailed because people get bored and click away. So we kind of keep it a little bit more light and topical sometimes. But the AHRA channel Tech Talk, they will really talk they'll get really deep into the weeds with tech stuff, and yeah, they'll take some time with you. They're really good about it. And then Professor P, being that he is in the industry from on a he isn't in sales, he's in R&D, but he knows like what's available, what's coming in the pipeline. Sometimes he can't talk about it, but a lot of times he's got the most current information that you could get anywhere about uh, what's good, what's not good, where you could go, what you can expect to see in the future. So um, a lot of people seem to think that the nitrogen works very well. Now, nitrogen being a noble gas, it doesn't react with the rubber inside the tires like just air would, because there's no free oxygen, and it should be more stable for eventually regular air goes in anyways. Hippie Long says, so if you got a 4-speed for free, you would run it. I hadn't been expecting a free 4-speed. If a free 4-speed showed up tomorrow, I would be perplexed as to what I wanted to put back in. Because one of the reasons we went with the automatic was because the flywheel that we had and the pressure plate that we had for the clutch was not good. It needed replaced as well. So even if we got a free 4-speed, we'd have to put in the expense of the clutch stuff. Why don't you sit here?
I can. Ooh, it is cold out there, but nothing's frozen.
Good.
It's wet.
It hasn't had time to get
But
that
it's
cold yet.
Oh, look at this. Dean Stevenson toilet converter. What's he talking about?
Olive says basically the nitrogen is for real, just not likely to be worth the trouble. Like, can you imagine going to the dealership to get air in your tires? Can you imagine anything less convenient than that? Like, have you been to the last time I was at a dealership, they make you sit and wait or come back the next day for your car. Can you imagine dropping your car off at the dealership?
What gets me about
coming back the next day?
Nitrogen in tires, they mount the tire up and they now there's air in that tire, and then they put some nitrogen in it to finish it. So I don't know if it really,
Seems like a crock. But yeah, I know like the GM dealer back up in Pittsburgh is you basically had to drop your car off and come back for it the next day. They did not like people sitting there and waiting impatiently while they worked on your car. So can you imagine? You've got nitrogen tires, and Buddy says regular air is 78% nitrogen in the first place. Yeah. Moisture in there changes your pressure is the idea. Oh, okay.
Well, and that's, I guess, in a dry environment. Yeah, but still, you got a lot of air in there anyway. Moisture when they mount the tire. Unless they suck it all out to evacuate the tire.
I think Dean started talking about how he had a friend who had a wheels that had came with nitrogen in them. So I started talking about that I wasn't impressed with the concept.
Well, and like aircraft, they used helium.
I think that whole thing came around the same time as they came. Oh, I got this radio in here. The whole nitrogen in the tires idea came around the same time as they started mandating tire pressure monitors in vehicles.
Here,
because they decided.
Put this back.
Okay. They decided that tire pressure was gonna save the global economy by saving billions of gallons of oil a year. If we all put the right tire pressure.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that don't put the right tire pressure.
Can you switch it over so they can see this?
Yeah, sure. Okay, you got everything or both? That's everything. Kim, what do you want? Everything or both cameras?
Well, they want to see you.
Okay, both cameras.
Yeah.
It belongs. Is that critical? Get tire warmers. Yeah, I would say I understand what you're saying about start off with nitrogen, but when you're mounting a tire, how do you start off with nitrogen? All that air that's already in the tire, you got to evacuate that moisture out of there, I would guess. But Nobody does that. They just add some nitrogen.
I mean, to do it on a regular system, they have to use a vacuum pump and vacuum it down. They don't do any of that.
Yeah, you have to pull all the moisture out of there. I don't think by adding, I mean, I guess you're lowering the humidity to a certain extent, but the volume of the volume of the tire already has air in it. So I don't know. Maybe it helps them.
You know what helps?
Well, and that's why they put helium in aircraft tires, because they don't want they don't want that freezing up there. Of course, it'll be, wheels aren't turning. It's gonna be a problem on an aircraft.
Helps the dealer's bottom line.
So, and then yeah, Dr. Go, the people passing for hours doing 90 to 100 miles an hour around Chicago tonight must have had good, consistent tire pressure. I can't believe how people drive now. And the police don't do anything about it anymore. They just wait till they crash and they go right to the accident report. Well, if I asked Kim if she got a 4-speed for free, would she use it? She said, she really wanted to go to an automatic. And then we needed a bunch of stuff. We needed a flywheel and a pressure plate and all the clutch stuff. And so she actually had another transmission that was a fully synchro 3-speed, because she doesn't like stopping before she downshifts into first. So I don't know. I think she's going to enjoy the automatic a lot.
Hey, yeah, I had a free automatic, so it just made sense.
Oh, it says, well, if factory could do it, use positive pressure to set the beat with nitrogen. There you go. Not so practical once you enter the real world, though. Yeah, like in a tire shop. Like in Arizona, we put tires on stuff and it's hard, 9 or 10% humidity. But, then you go up somewhere in the Northeast in the summertime, you're going to get a lot of moisture in that tire before you even start to put the pressure in it. Terry Mott. Yeah, Dr. Go, I drove that for 38 years, no longer. Dean Stevenson, the Japanese should have supplied the nitrogen. Probably should have supplied the tire warmers. Oh, bead. Okay. Now I understand. Well, a factory could do it, use positive pressure to set the bead with nitrogen. I worked in a tire shop for a while. One time we had I don't remember, it was a big Buick or Oldsmobile. It was a big full-size car. And tires worn out. We had to put a tire on it. There's no valve stem in it. There was no hole in that wheel for a valve stem. We ended up drilling a hole to get the air out of it. And then we added a valve stem to it. So from the time that car was new until they wore that set of tires out, how did they get air in there? Somewhere when they put that tire on, they couldn't have added air pressure with the thing that we normally use. How did that happen? How are they installing those tires with some kind of an extreme blaster around the bead or something that set the tire? And then nobody ever checked the air pressure after that. And I don't know what the air pressure was. It's enough that they drove in to have the new tires put on.
That's wild stuff.
I hear you, Terry. I heard you were around the Northwest Indiana. I grew up there and have driven the crossroads of America since '77. Oh, technically a tire shop could as easily set the bead with nitrogen I don't know if they easily could have, but they got those big blaster guns now that it's like a big thing that goes boom and it sets the bead. We never had anything like that in tire shops. We put something around the tire to squeeze it down to try to push the bead out, and then you use air in a. I guess you could put nitrogen in there. Somebody'd have to pay for that. I'm not sure if there's as many miles as people drive. Tires only last a couple of years anyway. So I guess it's supposed to make the inside of the tire not corrode, but let's just say even with good tire pressure, the first generation Explorers had quirky rear suspension and rear brakes. I had one for a short time and dumped it quickly after a few close calls. It says easy but expensive. Yeah, somebody's going to pay for it. You want to pay for it? Yeah, there you go. Set the bead with starting fluid and a bit lighter. I've seen people do stuff like that.
Oh, that's the big trick everybody does now.
Kim, you want a hammer? So you don't have to use a wrench for a hammer? It's already done.
This looks like an original Mopar chain, but an aftermarket gear.
How loose is it?
Seen better.
Well, maybe we should buy one.
Yeah, we should.
All right. I'll get you timing set. So much for a rebuilt short block. They put the original chain back on.
That's really weird. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is a different one, but just really, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to tell. How's that? But this is not the nylon toothed Mopar dam gear. I don't know what they were. I don't know what they were doing. They replaced the gear but reused the chain. Maybe it's just an new old stock chain. It's not a horrible shape, but I'm gonna bring it. You can look at it. How's that?
It's not about corrosion. Nitrogen just changes the least according to the temperature.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I know one, like the Mazda that I had that had the, TPI sensors. Oh, my Dodge Caliber, you could see the pressure on all four tires, and if you started getting low, you could see it. The Mazda just tell you that one tire was low; it didn't tell you which one, and then I had to go around with a tire gauge and figure it out. But I know on cold days or cold evenings, yeah, I'd almost always get a TPI sensor warning. That thing stinks.
It does, yeah.
Why does that smell so bad? Oh, hey everybody, smell this timing chain.
Smells like maybe assembly lube, right?
I don't know what it smells. Stinks. Boat Anchor says, what about timing gears? Oh, it doesn't have the fiber timing gear, so the timing gear's been replaced, but Kim says this chain felt loose.
Well, see how these are fancy, sort of? They've got the aftermarket ones are usually just really plain. That looks like a factory style chain.
So, is this a factory style chain? I don't know. You should just get a new set. Here we go, more stuff. Spend a little more money on this engine.
Yep, just keep dumping.
Oh, it says the water in the air is where your tire pressure varies most according to heat. Like old gear lube. Yeah, but why would there be gear lube in the engine? Smell-O-Vision Extra is extra on YouTube. Can you pay for that? If they got you paying for that, probably not getting much. Oh, it says Penn's song for the band L7, Stinky Timing Chain. I don't know. Yeah, well, this smells funny. Yeah, it smells like some kind of old oil or something.
Yeah, well, there was old oil trapped between the gear and the cam when I pulled the gear off.
Yeah, we only ran the engine for what? Maybe short times.
Yep. 5 minutes.
Well, so there's two reasons to have it apart. You should probably put a timing chain on it.
I mean, that one would have been okay. It wasn't like 10 degrees of slack or anything like that, but it's hard.
Dean says, pretend that it's aired. We just pretend that it's aired. Aired. Oh, this is a song or something. Now I'll tell you where the nitrogen thing really got to me one time. It's a woman I knew, single mom, got this little kid. She's working. She doesn't make a lot of money. She had some, I don't remember what it was, Toyota something, not new. She's doing everything she can to keep her bills paid, pay her rent, keep her kid fed. And she had that Toyota at some tire shop, and they told her it was dangerous to drive without the nitrogen, and they want to charge her $20 a tire to put nitrogen. And she almost did it. Spent $80 of her hard-earned money to change that thing over to nitrogen. And she called me, and I go, no, don't do it, you know. And, they were going to take $80 of hers, but she didn't have $80 to spend on anything. She needed to feed her kid and keep her heat on, and get enough gas to get to work. And they were bent on getting $80 out of her for that. And
I mean, if you got to $80 and you want to pay for nitrogen, more power to you. But man, don't do that.
She didn't have an extra $80. She didn't have an extra $5. Oh, I know what it was. She had a flat tire, and they fixed it, and then they wanted to put the nitrogen in all 4 tires for $80. Just shame on them. Oh, they said my Slant had too much slant. Flywheel spent, and my crank camshaft flat. Pull the cover. What have I got? Stinky timing chain. Huh. Boat anchor, instead of a chain drive, it's gears. What do they call that setup? Timing gears. Yeah, my Studebaker's like that. Has timing gears. I think a lot of Ford 6s are like that. Who's in here that's Danny Boyd in here tonight? And Dean probably knows. The 300, the 240 and the 300 Ford 6s. Don't they have gears? I can't remember. It's been so darn long since I worked on one. Yeah, like 1970s. Terry Mott, the only thing we're not taxed on, air. Keep. Shh.
Oh, yes.
They're going to figure that out.
Oh, yes.
You exhale. carbon dioxide. You're going to put a meter on your breathing system, so you got to pay tax on that CO2. Dean Stevenson, Big 6 only, but it was Hudson engineer designed. Was it? Because a lot of the things like that 240, what I remember, so much of it looked like the same parts in my 289. You know, like the rock arms and that kind of stuff. So the Big 6 only, the 240 and the 300, had timing gears. I know my Studebaker does. Oh, here we go. Ads. I'll be quiet. Maybe commercials are over. No, Dean Stevens says, yeah, the Cologne V6 to 79 had timing gears. Oh, it says doing Riot Girl lyrics here. Okay, now I understand what that is. Okay, so Bruce says 2.8 Cologne engine has gears. So what year did the Cologne engine switch? They switched to chain? Because we've got Cologne engines around here, but I don't know what years they are.
85 or 86 was the last year for the gear, and then they switched to.
So what do you have in your Cologne engines, Kim?
One's one, the old one's one, and the new one's the other.
Oh, so you have one that has timing gears, and the other one has a timing chain.
Correct.
So like the cams don't even turn the same direction.
No, they don't.
Dean says everything different. Different ignition, distributor direction, different spacing between the cam and the crank. Different spacings between the cam and the crank. So they didn't just make the gears smaller and put a chain. They changed the whole block. Oh my God.
It is.
Tim, what ads? I don't have an ad blocker on my...
Not everybody gets an ad every time.
I didn't get ads on your lives. You know, they're there, but I don't know. Because I get a note here when they put them up. I used to not put... I used to be able to just have one at the beginning and one at the end, and now the least I can have is every 30 minutes. So I select every 30 minutes. Oh, Kim, I'm having eye problems. Why am I having eye problems? That usually happens. Yeah, suddenly. That usually happens when my blood sugar's low.
Low?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here.
Anything today?
Yeah, I ate some salad and a few nuts. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I just closed my eyes for a minute. I can't really chat with my eyes closed, but something's not right.
What's wrong, guys?
Oh, this isn't good. Okay, I can kind of read this. Clone gap here, 1985 technically, but 1983 and 84 gear. Oh, it says I've been able to avoid midstream ads. How do you avoid midstream ads? Oh. Dean, Ford got access to the old Hudson tooling and its old engineering team. The 240-300 was a very special difference. Dean Stevenson, Dreamweaver. Oh, yeah, Dreamweaver. Commercials not a big deal, really. Yeah, because you can click most of them. You just click out of them. You watch them for a few seconds and click out of them. It's just when they come, I get them up here. And it's on the half hour, and I get a notice, and I just be quiet for 15, 20 seconds. Buddy Carfano, are the head bolts one-time use? On this? No. No.
No, they're not torque to yield.
Yeah, the ones that are torque to yield are one-time use. These are like nowhere near that. Boat Anchor says, I got to go to bed now. Catch you later. Okay, hey, thanks for stopping by. And take care. Also says, I don't know how, Buff, my ad blocker and YouTube are in an arms race. Oh, you have an ad blocker. You don't have YouTube's ad blocker? You have another one?
Don't admit
See,
to
if you
that.
use YouTube's ad blocker, the content creators still get paid. When you use somebody else's, the YouTube, the content creators,
Ad blocker.
they get the content creators get cheated. Dr. Go, Buff, are you seeing like a kaleidoscope? No, but I've had that happen before. I know what that is. I've had that happen twice. No, what happens to me is it just starts getting difficult to read on a screen. Anything lit up, it just starts getting to be hard. And it's usually a blood sugar issue that I'm getting going on. Yeah, I've done a kaleidoscope thing twice. Buff, any Ford AOD transmission experience? None whatsoever. I probably owned a few of them, but they just were the front drivers. What's that, Kim?
I have a little.
You have AOD experience?
Yeah, I think that's what's in my Ford van.
Oh, and you put a tail shaft on it. Or tail shaft
housing.
housing. Okay. Yeah, but you haven't really been into the transmission.
Not at all.
All of it. Ads come up before you guys. I let them play through in hopes you get money. So okay. Yeah, I mean, even if you click out of them, as long as they're there. I mean, it's like, and we're getting to a point where we're making a little money. We're not going to get rich doing this, but I start seeing $2 and $3 on a video. I feel pretty good because we're adding to it rather than just subtracting from it. But with people leave super chat sometimes. That really helps. I think that's how we got our new computer. Was a new computer, used computer, but new to us. $150 computer, which was way newer than the one we had, and it works.
Yeah, the one that we
works great.
Really getting there in age.
We bought a computer from one of these companies that takes computers. They buy them from, like a bunch of them from a company that's upgrading, and then they sell them. They're on eBay. It's one of those ones that's got like 10,000 sales, like 99% good feedback. Yeah, we buy from them. They work really well.
Yeah, I need help.
You need help.
Yeah, can you your gloves, or I guess you could use your dirty gloves over here.
Yeah, okay. I'm headed over there to help Kim. I'm gonna swap the cam then, Kim. Kim, something.
Either way, it will be done quick.
Okay, we're back over there. Cam's with you.
Put your gloves.
I think they're over.
Oh yeah, they are. They're underneath the.
Oh, you're over there too.
This is so simple. This head is disconnected. Take it off and set
Oh,
it
we're
on.
pulling ahead.
I just want to set it on a piece of pulp.
Okay, I am gonna just let me rest for a second.
Okay.
Whatever that eye problem is, that I think what happened was I probably stared into one of your heavy duty lights and blanked out the center of my vision for a second because it cleared up pretty quickly. But I don't think it's a blood sugar problem. Well, where are we lifting from? Where am I lifting from? You got one end, you had the other end. You got both ends.
Well, I'm going to give you this end.
Which end?
This.
Okay, you're gonna get okay.
Can you back up over to there?
I can back up over there. I know where I'm going. Okay. Okay, I'm good. You good? No, you're not good.
Okay. And I want you to put the edge of the spark plugs down first.
Don't want to mess up. Right now, we make a decision. We'll try to pull it out. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. I think I may have looked into one of Kim's studio lights, but I'm not sure because it's fixed itself already. Okay, let's see. Oh, since I can't super chat because my banking is deliberately primitive, but I would hope to. Oh, well, that's it. I don't expect anybody to put super chats, but when they do, it's nice. Dr. Go, not trying to pry or joke here, Buff, but my dad was diabetic and lost his sight in one eye at 46 years due to blood sugar numbers getting way off. Well, here's what happened with me. I was real careful with it. I found out I was diabetic in 07, beginning of 07, like January of 07. And I got real serious about it. And I lost 100 pounds because I was a big, heavy guy. And I've mostly kept the weight off. I've gained a little, lost a little, but basically I've kept it off. And when I was out traveling around working, I got to the point I just didn't even care because I was eating in restaurants and eat. You know, when you're on the road, it's really hard to stay on a diabetic diet. And when I met Kim, I was still in the I, I don't care. I just eat whatever I want. I just didn't even care anymore. And she kind of encouraged me to pay attention to my diet. So for the last couple of years, I've gotten real serious about it. Got my blood sugar under control. Got the A1C. If you're involved with this, you know what A1C is. My A1C right now is 5.8. So I'm right in the ballpark. And things are pretty good. But yeah, I did some damage. And I know I did some damage. And the eyes are one of the things I worry about. So, yeah. Let's see, what else? Where else were we here? Dean Stevenson says the AOD uses the AMC Borg Warner kickdown linkage. Some of the Australian BW35 Valiant kickdown linkage. Each of those were technically throttle valves. The AODs I had, I think, were all front drive cars. Hippie Long, Dean, what shifter? Oh, Dean, asking about shifters. Dr. Go, okay, I already read that. Yeah, supercharged. Dean Stevenson, 5/16 base clearance at idle. 1 7/16 total pull out. I don't know what all this is. Dean Stevenson, the stock Ford Mustang 1985 5.0 shifter. Goulet, agreeing with Dean Stevenson, I think. Hippie Long, I think 302 AOD in my Maverick. I'll have to get a floor shifter. Oh yeah, what year? I forgot. What you told me you sent pictures of the Maverick, but I don't remember what year it was. Oh, it says I'm very cash poor. Yeah, that's how I am. Cash poor. That's why we put air in our tires. Not $80 worth of nitrogen. Dean Stevenson has extra divider in the shift, but you have to do the AOD shuffle to pick up first. Dean Stevenson stock box 4i 5.0 AOD 8586 is one based on the ages old 65 through 84 C4 green dot floor shifter. Ah, that thing. Rose's BorgWarner BW interchangeability is vast. These guys are all talking to each other. Hey, Max Wedge Dick Dastardly is here. Welcome to the chat. AJ Kylie, when I was young, I could lift that head with one arm. Not no more. Yeah, we're careful. You know, I'm getting old and I'm not anywhere near as stable and I can't lift what I used to. I'd like to think I can, but I can't. And Kim knows that. And so we're a lot more careful than we used to be. I don't need to be macho and pick up a head by myself. Although if I'm in the shop alone, I've done it. And then Kim gets mad at me, but I really shouldn't be doing that.
I'm not supposed to be lifting anything that heavy.
And she's not supposed to be lifting anything that's heavy. And we have the tools to lift stuff. I think she put that head on with the engine hoist.
And
Maybe,
honestly, with the two of us, it's like.
yeah, with the two of us, that head isn't that heavy. Dastardly financially challenged, yeah. Dr. Go, time to sleep. Long week of work ahead, so I need to rest. Good night, everyone. Yeah, good night.
Bad weather, buddy.
Good night, Dr. Go, and be careful up there with the weather, yeah, especially because you might get smacked by that cold stuff, too. Well, it is cold up there. You just don't have the wet right now. People, let our doctor go. Terry Mott, take care. So, Kim, what's going on over there? Oh, you're pulling lifters. I see what's going on. That engine's back down, and we're looking at pistons again. I didn't expect to ever see those pistons again. Oh, you know what? I got real excited about this cam, really, because Shane, from Shane Polito, is going to be doing a custom cam for us, and I'm really excited about that. Yeah, Al says if you push your limits, be very disciplined about lifting techniques. Yep, all that stuff. Well, with me, it's more like I'm not steady, and I can lift stuff. My left arm is weaker than the right arm. I don't know why that happened. It just is. It's also my left arm's a little shaky. So, but if I start moving around and fall, holding something like a head, oh man, that's the risk. Excuse me. Should have put the cough drop in 10 seconds sooner. Or as they say in Japan, Dr. Let Go. Yeah, the lower back is the weak link. Yeah, luckily I hurt my back, I don't know, 25 years ago. But it healed and it's okay. So yeah, I'm aware of that. What happened with my back was I was helping a guy put a landing gear in an airplane. We had some kind of chain fall or something holding the airplane up, and we had this landing gear that was heavy. And he was on one side and I was on the other side, and we were in a horse barn, and they're on the floor. There's all this, straw and horse poo and everything else. So we put a couple of blankets down. I was sitting on a blanket. He was sitting on a blanket, and we're holding this landing gear up. I don't have it quite centered. So I want to be centered on it because it's heavy. So I went to scoot my ass over. Well, my butt didn't scoot in the horse poo. When I went like this, something in my back gave. And it's like, shouldn't have done that. So now I got something in my back that hurts. And I'm holding landing gear up and I can't let go of it because I just couldn't. And so we got the bolts started, and then I got out from under the airplane. And my back hurt for over a year. And driving a car, I noticed like there was a knot in the middle of my back, and it really bothered me driving long distance. I lean forward or put like little pillows on both sides. And one day I was driving home on a long distance, like a 2 or 3 hour trip in the car. And I noticed my back didn't hurt. I'm thinking, I wonder how long it's been since I felt my back hurt, and that little knot that was back there was gone. And I don't know, I guess it healed up. So I'm aware of that. I don't want that to happen again.
This cam doesn't have any taper on it.
Dick Dasserly says, Shane knows his stuff. I have arthritis in my lower back, never starts hurting. Okay, you got the cam out.
This cam doesn't have any taper ground into it.
It doesn't have any taper ground.
None. I could tell by looking at it. It does not have taper.
So that is the cam that was in that block. Did somebody else put the block together? They bored it 40 over, put new pistons in it, put everything nice in it, and put a nice old crappy cam in there with no taper.
No.
So we'll get a new one from Shane.
You can put the big picture back up.
Wrong big picture. Right big picture, but then you're not in it. Kim is there. She says that cam she carried over here has no taper on it.
No.
Oh, it says when my back goes out, it's not what it's about usually. I've heard it before, and then it goes out picking up a dropped envelope or something. Yeah, I know how that stuff is. After I got run over by that car. Oh, the last time I had back problems, it all healed. I had 4 broken ribs and 5 broken spinous process on my spine, and then I had a hole poked in my lung from one of the ribs. That all healed, but I was starting to feel really good and getting all cocky about everything. And I was helping guys in a warehouse put up cases of toilet paper, big cases of toilet paper. They didn't weigh very much. Handed up the guy, handed the second one up, and then there was one roll of toilet paper that was loose by itself. I go, here, and I flung it up to him. That was a mistake because it broke one of the spinous process on my back that was almost healed. So that was another 5 or 6 weeks for that to heal. And that was just a toilet paper, but I flung it up in the air, which was stupid. You know, I never even thought it would hurt me because I was feeling so good. KJ Kylie, every couple of years, my doctor gives me the big needle in my back. Sounds like you.
Right, cortisone shot. Cortisone, KJ Kylie?
Kim's had surgeries on her.
See, I didn't have cortisone shot. I had electroablation. I don't remember.
Dick Dastardly says, I bounced in bulldozers and rock trucks for years. Beat me to death. You know, in the Army, all the helicopter pilots I knew in the Army, they all had back problems from sitting there and, you know, what do you call them? Black Hawks and everything. Getting their doctor told me one time, you always can tell a helicopter pilot by their back problems.
Rogule says, I got degenerative disc disease, C1, C2, C3. I've got it. I've got L5, S1 fusion with instrumentation, and I have C3 through 5 fusion. I'm so sorry, Ro. It's pretty awful. Surely you understand, because 1 through 3 is not a nice one to get fused either.
What's this? All got discipline movements like from martial arts.
Right.
That's something both my kids were into martial arts, and I really encourage that.
His problem, we had to move the setup here because he kept yanking his neck around to say stuff, and he was hurting himself.
Oh, well, that's since the neck problems were since that crash and on the way home from No Name Nationals, a guy smashed me, totaled my car. That was I thought I was fine. I got out of the car, and within a few minutes, my neck's really bothering me. I felt fine when I first got out of the car, but man, I wasn't. I've still got problems.
There's no taper ground into that.
Okay, so we know what the problem. Well, there must be some taper because some of them are turning.
I don't know why they were turning, but the none of these have taper ground in them. We could measure it. That would be a short. It would be hard to.
Well, I want to talk to.
That would be a long.
I want to talk to.
It'd be a lot of work to do.
Shane, before I do that, so I do it properly.
Why, you want to find out the best way to
I
measure?
want to find so I don't make mistakes on a video. If I do a video, I want to be really sure of myself, and that I'm not 100% sure of myself.
Yeah, we could probably do some research on that.
So I want Shane's to help me with it, or at least talk to him first.
I cannot believe we
What's
got
this?
one of those bad ones.
All of this Tai Chi practice can help you be aware of what you're. Okay.
I wonder if there was any miles on this engine to speak of.
Oh, you know what? That could be a new cam. Oh, I know what you're saying. It could be one of those new cams that doesn't have any taper on it. Because that was a new short block. And the timing would be about right for that.
Well, we don't know when this short block was
We don't know
made.
when it was done, but we know about when it was done. It was all fresh. No, we just don't know how long they ran it.
You could just tell by the way that it's the wear pattern that there's no tape.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Some of those lifters were spinning okay, but the ones that didn't spin were never going to.
Older folks in Japan still do that. It helps them keep functioning, even just the basics. Well, Kim, what was that noise? Something here on the computer just went bleep, 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 bleep. I'm looking around to see if something's failing. We still got kilobits going out. It still looks, I still see video. I don't know what that noise was. So you have to buy a new cam and lifters. Yes. Here's what the deal is. Shane Polito, that goes by Slant, his YouTube channel, Slant Daily Garage. He's an engineer at Edelbrock and Comp Cam, Edelbrock Group, which is Edelbrock, Comp Cams, Lunati. I don't know. There's like 6 or 7 companies there. And he's an engineer there, and he's a Slant 6 aficionado. He's one of those guys, and he's going to do a custom grind for us. And we're hoping we can get those new DLC lifters, the Diamond Light Coating lifters. They really don't even need a break-in, but they're prototypes at this point. But they should have them available soon. I hope real soon. So I'm going to talk to Shane tomorrow. He goes back to work tomorrow because he's been on vacation for the holidays, and he's going to get us dates and prices and everything, and we'll get a custom grind, which is pretty cool. And what he says is the lift will be about the same, maybe a little bit more, and the duration will be more, and the lobe separation angle will be different. But he goes, you won't even be able to tell. He goes, it'll just be a nice, smooth, quiet running cam. You have more torque and more power, and he goes, you'll like it. I said, okay.
Can't say no to that.
He's if I have anybody do a cam, that's the guy I want to do it. Got the Slant experience, got the all the Edelbrock and Comp Cams experience. So yeah, and once we know more about that cam, I'll be doing a video on it. I think Kim just left. Kim just went outside. Kim, are you outside or did you just open the door for something? Actually went out. Nonetheless, if you learn to do it, hippie, you can use it in everything. I was taking my kids to dojo. They were both of them. there were adults in there just starting. Some of them were in their 60s, and they were, I guess it's never too late to just start with martial arts. My youngest son, I don't think he's used it at all as an adult. Tell Kim looked up 4 speeds might be a gearing issue with the 6-cylinder. What is this Hippie Long's talking? What I probably missed the beginning of this, Kim.
Okay.
Hippie Long says, tell Kim looked up 4 speeds might be gearing issue with 6 cylinders, and now we've got ads. I'll wait on the ad because the ads.
A gearing issue with a 4-speed?
I don't know, Kim. I don't know what it's like a conversation that started earlier, maybe.
Okay. Let's see.
Hippie Long, second one from the bottom.
Tell Kim looked up 4-speeds. Might be a gearing issue with the 6-cylinder. Well, no. So there's different uh, gear ratioed 4-speeds, but a regular car 4-speed is fine with a 6-cylinder, and we already have a lighter rear end ratio, so the car won't be too hard to get going.
Oh yeah, the rear end is like what?
345.
345.
Because it's from a Ford Ranger.
It's got a Ford Ranger rear end under it.
So unless we put like super big tires, which we didn't, it will be easy to get moving. So a regular Mopar 4-speed would be fine in the car. I mean, a 3-speed was fine in the car. But yeah.
Tim says, wish you lived closer to Ed's machine. Where's Ed's machine? Don't know where it is. I take my next project to him and just Mopar Joe.
We could. I don't. Is Ed's machine up there by just Mopar Joe? I don't know if we can afford Ed's machine.
Oh, we don't need any machine work right now, I don't think.
We've been trying to avoid machine work because the cost of manpower in the economy today is very, very high, especially skilled labor like machine work.
Well, there's always waiting months for anything.
Well, if you're willing to pay, you could probably get in a good place in line, but if we can find stuff that doesn't need machine work, it's worth paying more for because machine work's expensive. But knowing if you're going to do machine work, you really want to know who you're taking it to. Know that they know their stuff. It's in Arkansas. I mean, we could go to Arkansas.
What is that?
We have something specific to work on. That's the metal of the door from the wind blowing.
Oh, it sounded like somebody coming in the door.
No. Mr. LeSabre says, I blew out L5 and L6 lifting a toolbox out of the back of my Omni when I was 30. Ouch.
I know a guy that used to move his toolboxes around all the time, and he got kind of sick of it. And you know what an intermediate box is? Snap-on used to have them. They don't have them anymore. But I know there's other companies that have them. It's a toolbox. It's about this high. It's got 2 drawers. It's like a bottom. It's like goes on top of the bottom box, and then your top box is supposed to go on top of that. So it's like an intermediate addition to your box. Well, he built a frame out of angle iron that had 4 wheels on it and an intermediate box set on it. And then he had a bunch of intermediate boxes. And 2 of us would pick up those intermediate boxes. I thought it was a bottom toolbox, big roller on top, bottom chest. But it was 2 drawers, 2 drawers, 2 drawers, 2 drawers. And we picked those up and put them in the back of his van and get where we're going and just set it right back up again. And man, was that ever a cool setup. And but he moved that toolbox. He had to move around a lot because of the job he had. And I helped him moving around several times. It was pretty slick setup.
Olive, when I was younger, I did a lot of wood chopping, and I'd have to say, like, the important things is warm up before you start doing anything intensive. Like you're saying, striking efficiency, absolutely. Like warm up on light work first, But really, what gets you is maneuvering around big logs. You just have to be very deliberate with your movements, and you can do it. We're going to have a lot of wood that needs split here. I've been thinking about how we're going to do some of that because I can split little woods. We have some of those giant rounds. We're going to need something. We're going to have to come up with something that is ingenuitive as far as I don't know. I was pricing out used hydraulic splitters about $800 or $900. So I don't know. You can pay a lot of gas bills with the $800 or $900. Run a lot of diesel.
Let's see, what was I saw here? KJ Kyler, you're going to get the speedometer to read accurately. The speedometer didn't even read. The speedometer goes up to 30 and stops. So, yeah, that's another project.
Yeah, the speedometer in a car is bad.
We'll
We
have to get the right gearing, take the speedometer apart, whatever, get it all working, you know.
Yeah, I've got enough 904 transmissions that I should probably be able to find a gear that we need to get it geared right, but I don't have a gauge. I don't know what I have to do.
Who's DDD?
The Dodge Garage?
Well, who's DDD? Who's bad folks? I don't know. Does that mean good? That's like they're bad folks, or does that mean like they're not good? Kim Engine Masters has an episode about Slant 6 manifold shootout. Well, we know what we're using there. We're using
they use different manifolds. Well, yeah, but we don't have the money to just buy a bunch of different manifolds. We've got
a what do you call it? You know what it is.
We have a Super 6, and it is cast iron. I wish it was aluminum because it'd be a lot lighter.
Yeah, my Slant 6, I've got a same thing, but it's aluminum. It's aluminum.
Yeah, he's got the good one.
Yeah, I got
not the good one. He's got the one that's everybody says, "Oh, poor is porosity,
but it's fine. It's fine. I got it from UTG. Uncle Tony gave it to me. Pretty good. It came well. He gave it to me with the car. He and Stubby owned that car together. So Tony gave me his part for some things I'd done, and Tony and Stubby, I bought his part of it out, and that Super 6 aluminum manifold came with it. Pretty good, and it's running. I've got a Ford Autolite carburetor on it, which I really like, and man, that thing runs good. I don't know if it's fast, but I mean it runs good. It's nice running setup.
So KJ Kylie, as far as the speedometer goes, we're gonna try, and we should be able to make the gearing in the transmission work, but I don't know if I can get the gauge fixed. And the other thing is it's so cheap at this point to just buy one of those little GPS speedometers. And
I got so many little GPSs around that read the speed.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty cheap and they're pretty accurate. So might just go with one of those until maybe I'll just keep my eyes open. Maybe I'll come across the stuff I need.
Well, coming back from No Name Nationals after my crash, I was riding with Kim, and I was setting a pace right at the speed limit at 70. But after my car was wrecked, then we're in her car, and it's dark, and so I had my phone with one of those phone speedometers. It's GPS speedometer. I just sit there and keep that going, so she knew how fast she was going, so we didn't get going too quickly. Man, that old worn out Slant 6, Kim, that thing, you'd go as fast as you want. It was real easy to go 80 miles an hour, 85 miles an hour.
It didn't even hesitate. It was fine with it, and it was loaded down too. So
we had all the crap out of my car in there, and we couldn't drive it because the drive shaft hit. So we took some of it out. Dr. Go was there, and we put a bunch of stuff in his car, and they were on their way down here to near where we live. So they brought a bunch of my stuff down here, and my Mazda had all the tools in it and a jack and all our stuff. It was a chase vehicle for, it had all our tools and everything in it for No Name Nationals. Probably bought like half the shop. And then all of a sudden we missing a car, so we had to pilot in her car. What is this? Remember Oregon wood grenade log splitter? I don't know much about that stuff.
Is that the one that has the two little levers that come out of it at when it goes into a certain amount? The levers come out and that makes it split. I think I've seen that. And Olive says she recommends the S-Wing Shore Split Wedge. Clever little geometry goes a long way. I do like S-Wing stuff, so I'll bet it is good because they make good stuff. I'll have to look it up. Is it the one that's it's like almost like it has like a cross once it goes in a certain amount? A little bit of wedging is really good. Dynamite splits wood good. Yeah, I think at some point though, what happens is if we're buying a lot of dynamite to blow up our wood, we're kind of like we could just buy heating oil and run a heating oil stove, right? So we have to do it efficiently. Like $900 for a log splitter is we start to lose. There's like an efficiency curve here, and if we have to like buy a bunch of expensive equipment to maintain our stove, it kind of stinks. We'll see.
Lester, let's say, what car are you going to use on the Super 6? On my Super 6, I have an Autolite 2100. I really like those carburetors, but a lot of people don't.
He's got an adapter, so he can
And
go from
an adapter, the holes in the center are just about the same size, so it's not like an adapter from a 2 to 4 barrel or something. But it's but she has these BBDs.
I've got 4 BBD carburetors, 2 shorts and 2 talls. This tall would not run on his car because it
didn't work.
We didn't know why. But I took it apart again recently and went through it again.
Hold it up so people can see. You got it sitting here, but nobody can see it.
And found some discrepancy. Well, the first time I rebuilt it, I realized that the lower gasket was wrong and it was blocking some of the ports. And then I realized that one of the jets was clogged and then whatever. But the really nice thing about the tall is you can take this plate off and there's a screw you loosen and then you can adjust the metering rod height with just these 2 screws and no gasket. So that's like nice. This is the most up-to-date one that I'm aware of. This is considered the tall BBD, and the short BBD, the metering rods are not adjustable, and they are only vacuum actuated. These are vacuum actuated, but they're adjustable. So, anyways, this is the best BBD if you can get one that works properly, but somebody had poorly rebuilt this one. This is my best. Those bushings are not real bad. I think it'll be okay. And if it doesn't work, I have another one. And if that one doesn't work, I have another one. And if that one doesn't work, I have another one. So I've got 4 of these to try. And if that doesn't work, I have a Holley. What's the Holley that's on the Bronco 2 right now?
It's a Holley 2-barrel. It's just like a Holley 4-barrel, but it's a 2-barrel. I don't know what that thing is.
Whatever it is.
But you use the same adapter I got. You know that'll work well because it's a brand new carburetor.
Yeah, so.
And that carburetor has like 15 minutes on it.
But it's not a Holley. It's a Holley clone.
It's a Holley. It's a Chinese Holley clone.
And it ran really good on the Bronco 2, but the Bronco 2 overheats instantly because it has a cracked block, we think.
Yeah, but then you're going to put that other one on there. You're going to want that carburetor, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to steal it back. Oh, the other thing is the Dakota sitting out there has a knockoff eBay one of these as well. So I could take it off of that one and use that one. I'll know that one will work, and then I could try and use this one on Dakota. I don't know. Those are our choices. Whatever is the most obnoxious and troublesome will almost certainly be what we pick. 2300, I think that's probably right. Richard Holdner moment. Hey, why don't we use 4 of them? Yeah. We use 3.
I'd have to make a manifold.
We use 3. So it'll be 1 for every 2 cylinders, and that makes sense on a Slant 6. One
I'm not sure there's any advantage to that.
It's because it's more complex.
Looks cool.
Yeah. We'll make a tunnel ram. Do you think we can?
Yeah, some is good. Why not more better?
Why not more better? Do you think we could make a tunnel ram with a bunch of these sticking out the top of a Slant 6? I hate to cut the hood on that car. I don't think I want to hook.
I think
don't
it's
really-
going to be really nice with just,
Super
we're
6
not
electric.
making really fast cars anymore. We're just making something that's kind of a warmed over Slant 6. It's going to be a nice car to drive.
It's tough because YouTube wants to see us build fast cars.
Yeah, stick
And
a
we
440 and a tunnel ram and everything.
Yeah, and we want to make our viewers happy.
Well, we're kind of doing what, I don't know, what we do is just what we can do. And it's kind of fun working in the shop. And she and I both like working in the shop. And I guess a lot of the people that come in here and hang out with us, or maybe they like that.
You guys understand. You're cool.
But Carafano, 3 2-barrels makes a 6-pack. Yep. I always look at stuff like that. Tavo will cut that roof for you. You wait. Tavo's giving me some dimensions so I can cut a roof. Only it's different than what he's doing. And you know what he has down there? He has the thing that in Australia they call it a ute. It looks like an El Camino, but it's a body, it's a Plymouth Valiant. But it looks like a El Camino or a Ranchero. And that's what his daily driver is. He's got a light blue ute. And I've got all the dimensions and stuff from him. And they use the front doors are not like big long 2 doors. They're short, like 4 doors. And I got the 4-door Valiant. And I'm thinking about cutting it and making it into a pickup. So I don't know. Maybe you get to see me do a bunch of cutting. What does anybody think of that? Some people are going to go, no, don't cut it. And other people go, yeah, that's cool. I don't know.
KJ Kiley says, I am perfecting my skills with JB Weld. Yes. JB Weld is good stuff.
Yeah, sometimes it is.
Iron reinforced epoxy. It's good stuff. It really is. Like, within reason. Olive is an OEM kind of gal mostly. Yeah.
Just OEM plus.
OEM plus.
That means a little more. That's kind of how we are, a little more.
Yeah. You know what? I am an OEM plus budgeted kind of gal.
A lot of stuff. we do stuff. Oh yeah, bust out the saw. Yeah, here we go. A lot of the stuff that I've done throughout my life is just stuff that I have, or stuff that's easy to make. And I built airplanes for years, but it was on somebody else's dime, I built a couple of them for me out of what I had, similar to this kind of projects. But then the airplanes I built, somebody else was footing the bill, so I could do whatever they wanted. And love doing that stuff. So I got the skills to cut and paste just about anything together. But here, I've got to do it with a budget, with what we have. And Lester LeSabre says, I like the Valiant Ute idea. Bust out your saw. I guess that means that. Buff, I love your Ute idea. Okay, so.
A lot of people like it. It's a cool car.
And then because of all my aircraft experience, I built just like many years of my life, built stuff out of aluminum, sheet metal, aircraft aluminum, stuff that's hard as nails, aluminum, really expensive aluminum. And I got a lot of it. So we've got this little sports car out here with a body is no good. It's a 71 Triumph Spitfire. So we're planning on building an aluminum body for that. Just taking that piece of junk body off there and getting it running, and make an aluminum body for it. So that thing, Triumph Spitfire is not a fast car. It's just kind of a fun sports car. But, build an aluminum body for it, that'd be kind of fun. And I have it. It's metal. It welds back together. That's right. What's this about? What is that noise?
Stuff creaking, popping.
Oh, it says I've always probably mostly enjoyed making older American cars corner like the world says they can't. Yeah, it's 63 Plymouth of my brother's. I had the nose lowered down on that thing, and I had we got the sway bars on it, and that thing was, oh my God, scary around corners. Twice I had people in that thing just go, slow down! They were frightened, and I was just like, whoa, around the corner. Yeah, of course I was young and stupid then too, but I never wrecked it. That thing was a 63 two-door Fury, two-door hardtop, no post. But it had a 318 poly in it, so it wasn't real fast, but oh my God, would that thing go around corners. And my last Fox body would go around corners pretty good. The one like the one I have now, but that car was only 4 years old when I got it. But see, there's another opportunity. It was crashed in the front end, and the guy just didn't want it anymore. He probably spent the insurance money. So the front end was crumpled up, and one fender was bad. So I got it for $200, $300. I think I got it for $300. And it was a 4-year-old car. It was a Ford Futura with a little 4-cylinder Pinto engine and a 4-speed in it. And he hated it. So I bought a fender and fixed the front, and the taillights were broken. I got taillights for it. And I had a 302 and a C4 that I put in there. And man, did that turn into a fun car. That was one of the most fun cars I ever had. So that's really why I wanted this one. So I don't know if I'll do the same thing, but it's the same, it's Fox body. You can do cool stuff with it. Dean Stevenson, the same, but ever so much more so. Dean Stevenson, Cessna 310 on acid. Cessna 310, that's a lot of airplane. I don't know where I'd fly that. I can't get a medical anymore, so I'm done flying. I don't know. When I was young, I just couldn't wait to get my pilot's license. Couldn't wait to fly. I wanted to work on airplanes. That's all I wanted to do. And then that's what I did for most of my career. And I'm sick of it. It's like I have no desire to even work on airplanes anymore. I'm done with that. Once you have a career doing something, you kind of burn out on it, or you can, I guess. Also, I proudly wiped out a Saab trying to chase my Duster in the snow. Uh-oh. Saab 96. Well, the Saab I really like is the old 3-cylinder 2-cycle Saabs. What were those things called? Saab 95 or something?
Oh, I don't.
Ring, ding, 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 ding. And they had the radiator up behind the engine, and they were just cool cars. The same, I like the old 2-stroke cars. I'd like to have a Trabant. I don't know which one I'd rather have, a Trabant or a Saab. I don't know. I like 2-cycle engines. Dean Stevenson, they're the same upside down as right side up. Some kind of 900 turbo. Dean, there was a real thing about Euro snobs versus us regular punks. Buddy Carfano, Spitfire is too small for road use. Yeah, you know what? That's the thing. When we build that car, I told Kim, I said, I'm almost afraid to drive that thing on the road now because of the size of the vehicles out there and the way people drive. They just run over you. Dean Stevens, I know it well. Have a Triumph Stags V8 motor up front. TO3 Garrett, all this stuff. KJ Kylie Buff, just thinking on your Zephyr, remove those 5-mile-an-hour bumpers and fab aluminum roll pans. Fog lights in front, exhaust outlets in rear. I've seen some of those Z7s and Ford Futuras where they've sanded the bumpers and they painted them same color as the car, and they look pretty good. And of the big gas bumpers, those were some of the ones that were least offensive. And they're aluminum. They're already aluminum, so I suppose I could move them back in a little closer and paint them. I don't know. We'll see. Well, if I have full confidence in your Ute plan, get your aluminum from a step van. Oh, you know what? The aluminum, I have rolls and rolls and rolls of aircraft aluminum in here from building wings and fuselages and stuff. I think I have enough to do the aluminum car, but the Ute, uh, most of it's removing stuff, and then we've got a pickup bed out here that I can use the floor out of it. Oh, it says nothing against Saabs, but the dude asked for it. Yeah, what do you think of those Saabs? All of the ones with the 2-cycle engines. Yeah, build a roll bar cage in that Triumph. Man, that won't go along with my little open aluminum body, but I don't know. I don't know what to do with that Triumph. We'll build the aluminum car and probably drive it up and down the road a little. And some abandoned road out here where nobody is. Put on a trailer, take it to car shows. I don't know what we'll do. It's an interesting project, not particularly practical. Kim, what you doing? You're getting tired?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too. I can tell. I can tell you're tired. And we've been on almost 3 hours. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna be back on Tuesday. Oh, Saab Sonnet. I got a friend that's got a bunch of those things. In fact, I think he's got a business where he just has. He's a guy up in Oregon, and he just sells Saab parts, and mostly for the little 2-seat Saabs. KG College, you see that Matador? The bumper's removed. Right? Oh yeah, the Matador. See, I had a '74 Matador. Man, they look really good without any bumpers on them. And then the little square holes up front where the bumper thing was mounted, you can put fog lights in that. That looks really good, or you can cover them up. Yeah, I see Mexican Spec had that '74 Matador for sale, but they want so much money for it. It's like I couldn't come up with the money for that. Okay, Bruce Colgin's taking off. I think we're going to take off. Kim, you want to come up here and say goodnight?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, everyone.
Yeah,
We're
I can tell when she starts walking around like that, she's done. And I'm cold, and that's time to shut it down. 2-cycle Saabs, no torque. Need to rev like crazy. Yeah, I had friends in high school. Had two friends. They both had 2-cycle Saabs. Ring, ding, 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 ding. They were great cars, though. You know, don't forget to end 1955 pictures for Tuesday. Yeah, our next live will probably be, this is Sunday. We probably won't do one tomorrow. Tuesday night we'll be on at 7 Central, and it'll be 1955. And
Yeah,
Buddy Carfano, I can see where you already sent me some pictures. And yeah, be there. We're going to have fun with that. Send them pictures of your cars.
if you haven't, if you're not familiar with the format, on Tuesdays we have a green screen. We like to show pictures. You can send us pictures of your cars. It doesn't matter what year they are. But if you don't have a picture of your own vehicle or own project to send us, look for a car that you really like, something that you would really like to own, or maybe something that you hate from 1955, and send it to buffdelcampo@gmail.com, and we will talk about it on Tuesday. And we hope everybody can make it there. And thank you, everyone, for hanging out and chatting with us. And sorry we have to go.